Well, how you doing today on a Wednesday? Coop, how's your day going?
Well, I spent the early part of the day actually with you. We really got to start taking some pictures when we're in the same place at the same time. Like for the people.
Yeah, we old school, man. It's like, our first thought's not to pull out the camera and start, taking flicks, but we need to do some of that. We do got a $20 super chat here from CJ Kidd. CJ Kidd be showing love, man. He says, a website posted the top 15 best storytellers in hip hop. 15 J. Cole, 14 Tupac, 13 Andre, interesting. 12 Jay-Z, 11 Kendrick, 10 Lupe, 9 Scarface, 8 G-Rap, 7 Cube, 6 Master Ace. I knew where this was going. 5 Eminem, 4 Nas, 3 Slick Rick, 2 Biggie, and 1 Ghostface. Thoughts? Well, I agree with the Ghostface part, even though I slightly got Scarface ahead of him. I think that Nas is too low because if we look at his volume of stories or whatnot, it's hard to have him behind Biggie and even the great Slick Rick.
I think they have the right characters, but having the right characters doesn't mean that, that the actual production of the play goes off well. And so what I would tell you is that, Scarface is way too low at 9. When you said Scarface at 9, I kind of stopped listening.
Right.
Andre is really not renowned as a storyteller and shouldn't be on this list.
I was going to say, I think it's very interesting somebody even puts him on a list like this. Based on what?
Black Thought has more stories than Andre, once again.
Are we basing all of these things on the art of storytelling? Like, I would ask someone, what is Andre's top 3 storytelling rhymes? I know what we're gonna go to. We're gonna go to the all-time infamous / famous Day in the Life of Andre 3000. I think that's where people are gonna go.
The Day in the Life of Andre Benjamin.
Yeah, Andre Benjamin. Excuse me. It's been a while since I heard it, so I forgot the title. Yeah.
It's one long verse. It's about feels like it's about 86 to 94 bars. Wouldn't you feel safe in saying that?
I mean, if you got to write one long song, which is a dope song about your life, I mean, do that one time. How many times can you do that?
I mean, it's a great story, but I mean,
it's his story. So if we're talking about from a creative standpoint, and you look at, I'll even throw Eminem in the category. You look at some of the crazy creative stories that he's put together. Stan's not a real song. I mean, it's a real song, but it's not, a real life experience. He was able to take creative license there. And then even if we want to go, I know it's not technically a story. Would you call Ras Kass's Nature of the Threat a story?
More dissertation.
Okay. And even if you take on that approach, you did a lot of research for that. Like, nigga, I could tell my life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I called it a dissertation.
Right.
There's a lot of research involved.
Exactly. So how much work does it really take for somebody to say, cool, make a long song about your life?
How hard is it?
Yeah.
It's relatively easy. I mean, really, when you think about it, no, really, when you think about it, what most artists are doing when they step to the mic is telling their life story in some sort of shape, form, or fashion.
But where we give them extra points, is to get creative and start making up things. Like, a children's story from Slick Rick is not a story that he experienced piece to piece. But we give Slick Rick all of this credit because he created this. And the creative license of it gives you a lot of points with that. That's why we look at people like him, Scarface, Biggie, Ghost, Nas, or Rewind, and things like that at such a high level because these stories basically came from their minds. Like, like a film director or a film writer, a script writer.
Yeah, it's no different than Steven Spielberg or Martin Scorsese coming up with a script for E.T. or for The Departed or for Yeah.
And you give people points for creativity, but if Steven Spielberg were to go out there and write a film about his life, is that going to be, critically acclaimed from a creative standpoint?
Well, even when he stays within the confines of his life or within his heritage, like with a Schindler's List, he still gets lauded for that as well.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but that's historical pieces in there too.
Dissertation.
Yeah. Research. How much research again does one have to do to write a full song about their life? I lived it. It's pretty
The bar work is
straightforward.
impeccable, Mike. The
Of
bar work
course.
is impeccable, but
The bar work's always going to be impeccable. He's a great MC. You ask a great MC at the height of their talents to write a song about their life, I would think most people could do that.
hey, Mike, you want to know what happened today? Coincidentally, since we're talking about this, Elevators came on my playlist.
Great song. One of their best.
Absolutely, it knocks. It still knocks too.
Yeah.
And I was actually in Atlanta, Mike. It was when we were leaving Metropolitan, which we'll be talking about shortly.
Yeah.
But you remember, Mike, when you used to record
Yeah.
and your hook is ending the song, and usually what your producer or engineer does is that the flat hook, the base that the hook is made on, that they keep, like that take that they keep of the hook, that's almost always the hook that's used to end the song.
Right.
When you end the song on the hook, because the producer thinks that it's your strongest take. So that's what they want people to hear as it goes out.
Right.
Have you listened to the end of Elevators, Mike?
Oh, yeah. Where they take out the underlining voices and it's just Big Boy's voice. And then it
Correct.
comes back in with everybody. I think Sleepy's under there. I feel like Deborah Killings is under there. Yeah, it's a lot of
great guitarist as well. Deborah Killings is a great guitarist as well, in addition to vocals.
Great background vocalists. And it's a lot of depth. It kind of reminds me of what they did at the end of the song Southern Playalistic, when like you got all of those voices coming in and it's big. It's like, we're gonna get you high, and it's massive. And then they just ride out with it. They're masterful for those things. I don't think they get lauded enough in hip hop for the musicality that Outkast encompasses as a unit. And when I say as a unit, I mean the whole Dungeon family. It's a collective effort when they do those things. But I think they were so far ahead of the curve with hip hop.
And I dig all that. Mm-hmm. And I dig all that. But Mike, what I'm trying to say is that I'm talking from a recording standpoint about who lays what.
Right.
And that's usually, you can find out who lays what. Like, here's something a lot of people may not know. Like, the original version of How Do You Want It is just Pac singing the hook.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, the way the story goes, Suge was like, like, you a star, but you ain't no singer. So,
Happy birthday, Suge, by the way. It's Suge's birthday. 58th birthday.
Happy birthday.
CJ.
So he was like, let's get Casey and JoJo to sing on it. But Mike, at the end of How Do You Want It, how do you want it end? You hear Tupac's voice at the end because that's how the hook got laid. They needed a reference point.
Exactly. Sometimes they leave the reference in there, and sometimes, it gets taken out. Even when you look at, I know everybody probably saw that Netflix documentary behind the scenes pretty much for Kanye, Genius. When you look at him basically feeding Jamie Foxx that Slow Jams hook, like that's coming from him. I don't know if they kept his vocals. I don't have to go back and listen to that again. I don't think they kept him under Jamie on that, but that was cool to see that, that hook.
Well, this is what I'm saying. When it's usually the artist that's coming up with it, they leave their vocals there. That's why I'm bringing up Tupac and Big Boy. But here's the thing about it that I'm trying to express to you. Like, Elevators is the song that changed everything, Mike. That hook is the song that changed everything. Big Boy wrote that hook.
He did.
You feel what I'm saying?
He
and
did.
So, like, we can't keep on going all the way up here with one and not going all the way up there with the other.
It's true.
Like, the hook to their second single off the same album. That's Big Boy. The ATM, throw your hands in air.
Yeah. Rosa Parks.
Just saying, like imagine him being a solo artist and keeping these hooks for himself.
Hey.
Now, aren't we talking about people differently?
Yeah. CJ Kid with the super chat says, Illmatic is one of the 3 rap albums I remember hearing my dad play on repeat as a kid. It ain't hard to tell. It's still GOAT final track on a rap album. It ain't hard to tell. It's tough.
That is ooh. I've never thought of it that way until now. That's fascinating.
It's kind of like
what's the best rap song to end the album? Like, is it ain't hard to tell the best rap song to end the album?
Got to think about that.
That's gonna be tough to beat.
It's tough to beat.
It's the first single off Illmatic.
It beats you Nobody Till Somebody Kills You. As
it ain't hard to tell. It's better than
as a song. As an album ender, I don't know. 2 different things.
Best song to end the album and best album ending is 2 different things.
2 different things. Because it's interesting when it ain't hard to tell. I was thinking because I know Nas was saying something along the lines of the album cover for Illmatic was inspired by, young Michael Jackson. We all Michael Jackson fans. And to end the album with It Ain't Hard to Tell, he was signed to Columbia, were able to get that cleared pretty easily. With Sony, all that stuff. And so it makes you think, though, is that, because I know that Human Nature sample that they did, there's an early version of that. Was that before Halftime, or was that after him and Large Professor did Halftime? Because that early version of It Ain't Hard to Tell sounds very early. He sounds very Rakim-esque in that demo. And it makes me feel like that might have been slightly before Halftime. And if it was, you ended your album with the first song. So it's like you're ending with the beginning. You know what I mean?
That's fascinating because I've always been of the train of thought that he sounded like G-Rap before he sounded like Rakim.
So you think that Halftime was probably before that?
Correct.
Huh. Well, we need to do some research.
Saying Atlanta ain't brave, I pull a number like a pager. That's G-Rap.
Yeah, but what was it? It's not called It Ain't
Hard to Tell. Catch me in the
streets
without a ton of reefer. That's like Malcolm X catching the jungle fever. That's G.
King Poetic, yeah. Jay Short with the super chat says, not digging up old wounds, but you guys were right on the Busta thing. I think Nori is the versus matchup for Busta. People forget Nori has the streets and club bangers.
Nori's got some bangers.
He does. No, that's real. Nori got bangers. I think, and this is me as a Busta Rhymes fan. I don't want to
he's right. He got the street joints too.
Yeah.
Because he's got that Capone and Noriega stuff. He's got like Bang Bang, Top of New York, Stick You, Parole Violators, Illegal Life. He's got a lot of street joints. He's got a lot of joints with Nas, like the Blood Money Part 2, Body in the Trunk. He's got Banned from TV.
Yep.
He's got Super Thug. He's got Oh No.
They both work really well with the Neptunes. I wish we could have seen the Neptunes and Busta work a lot more together than they actually did.
He's got the Grimy. That's on the same thing as the Busta with the What It Is right now. That's on the same joint.
Violator, yep. I love that Grimy. That hook was crazy.
Yeah, that hook was crazy.
Pharrell went in on that hook. When that heat
that's one of my favorite Neptune
and the ambulance come and rush you off. Yeah, that beat was crazy.
Yeah, beat the Grimy crazy.
Yeah, that beat was crazy.
No, Nori got some stuff.
Nori got some joints. Nori could beat somebody that people might not think that he could beat.
More street stuff. Nori got Blood Money too.
Yeah.
Like the first one. Yeah. Driver's Seat. Matter of fact, Busta Rhymes is doing at the end of Driver's Seat.
I think Busta's biggest moments lie in the features, man. And I say this as a Busta fan, and I feel like I know this from experience because me and a few of my friends, we really rocked with Busta in that era, but nobody else was really listening to Busta outside of the singles. And even the singles went so far. And so it's funny to me, like this many years ahead, everybody sitting here acting like they was rocking with Busta when he was in his prime. That's not the truth. Now, people like his features on some of the songs that were already made, already big in their remixes. And if you want to say that that's what's going to take him over the top, that's fine. But I still think that's a stretch. I don't know.
I'm not saying that he would beat Buster. I'm just saying it's more viable than people think that it is.
Yeah, I don't think he would beat Buster, but I do think that T.I. would beat Buster. Yes,
He's got "I'm Leaving" off the Fern album.
I don't know if a lot of people are familiar. See, the thing that Nori did, Nori started off a certain way and then ended a different way. Actually,
I like that.
He started off a certain way.
That's part of what's dope about it, because if Busta tries to go play some street shit, Nori actually has like you got to play all your hits. But here's the thing about it: Nori got hits too, and Nori got Busta on the street shit. So
I think that the people who are familiar with Nori's hits are not familiar at all with his street stuff. That's what I mean. It's like he turned a corner when he started working with the Neptunes really heavy. And
heavy.
Yeah, when he started working with them really heavy, and then it's like I think that the people who might know Nothing and stuff like that are not familiar with like, on the run eating T.O.N.Y. Yeah, they're not familiar with those songs. It's kind of like what Cam did. I think a lot of the stuff that Cam did on the first two albums, people who got familiar with him on Come Home With Me and Purple Haze might not be that familiar with that Cam. Doesn't mean that Cam is not as good as the other Cam. I'm just saying it's when you change your overall thing. I think the best example I can give, T.I., and I'm serious. He changed his whole thing, and he never goes back to that effort because people don't know him for that, T.I.
Well, what I would submit to you is that, like, Cam still had New York behind him, like old Cam and new Cam. And that and he had that in a time when that really, really did matter a whole lot. So it's like, I get what you're saying. I don't know if Cam is the best example of it, because Cam had New York support like before and after the switch. No, you know what I'm saying?
For real. That I think that the Rockefeller thing was just a boost. For real.
Yeah, that was just more more acknowledgement, like broadening up, the stream. Yeah.
JY with the super chat says, listening to Illmatic for the first time made me delve into and fall in love with hip hop in the pre-2000s. A2HH is the greatest. No one wants to smoke. 100. Who said they want smoke? I think I'm supposed to be. Am I supposed to be debating Jarv like next Monday or something? This coming Monday?
I was about to say, I haven't been out here behaving in a problematic fashion. I am not.
Listen, I'm not really gonna come with the smoke. I'm just gonna come with facts. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
are you going on there to debate Jarv?
I would love to. I don't even want to call it a debate. I'm just gonna discuss.
I don't know. See now, we have to be businessmen about this now. You see now, I pulled up on the Rap Roundtable, and they got their super chats. When I came on, so Jarv might owe us one solid.
Oh, is that what turn we're on right now? Okay, I mean, I think that's fine.
It might be our turn to get some of the group love. And some of the cross.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Branding and marketing.
I'll let you Don King this thing out, man. We'll work it out.
Yeah. I'm gonna sit on the sidelines for once and just be arbitrary. Be great. That'll probably be great for the people to see me be calm and moderate. Be like, the fellas, relax.
But see, I want to know, like, what is there to really refute? Once the blueprint hit, Jay set the blueprint. And how do we explain Kanye dropping College Dropout, doing astronomical numbers out the gate, and then repeating that in the following year?
Mike, save the jab, the uppercut combo for when Jarv comes on. Save your hits for when he comes on.
Okay,
save your
I'll actually
save
get
your
my
combinations.
research.
Save your combinations. Hit your jump rope. Get your left and your right in your hands. And
you know what? I learned something when I was interviewing Modbach yesterday, and shout out to him, one of the co-founders of Rap Genius. Him and I had a really good discussion yesterday. Check out the interview if you hadn't seen it. But he said that he really, really wanted Kanye to be an early investor in Rap Genius, and Kanye wasn't trying to do it. He was invested in something else or whatever, because their investors at that point was Nas, Pharrell, and Eminem, right? And so what Kanye did, though, he was like, look, I don't really like y'all layout on y'all website, and he created them a whole web layout and sent it
No,
over
no.
to him. And he said, "You got that," and they use that to this day. Is what he told me. And I'm like, yo, this dude is an architect, man. And that's all I'm saying. This ain't no knock on the great Jay-Z. He just happened to have one of the greatest music minds and possibly creative minds in his backyard early on. I mean, it's what it is. It's like when Shaq got Kobe. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say I was actually thinking musically, it's kind of like, Michael Jackson kind of like getting in Quincy's good favor during the Wiz.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't supposed to happen like that.
It's like when Shaq got Kobe, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to do? I'm still Shaq, and he was Shaq for those 3 championships. But you have somebody who can actually operate even if you're not here. CJ Kid with the super chat says, for Andre on storytelling, they credit the art of storytelling 1 and 2. 2 is kind of a story. I love that record. It's one of my favorite songs.
It was kind of cultish too.
Yeah.
A commoner doesn't know what the art of storytelling.
The Life of Andre Benjamin, of course. Miss Jackson, 10 times out of 9, if I'm lying, find the quickest muzzle, throw it on my mouth and I decline. King Meeks, Queen, and the Puppy Love Thing together. That's not really a story, is it? Together dream about the crib with the Goodyear swing on the oak tree. I hope we feel like this forever, forever. Forever, never seen that long until you're grown and notice that. That's not a story.
No. That's more of
Rosa Parks is more of a story than that.
It's more of a soliloquy.
Yeah, Rosa Parks is a story. And then they credited Spodioty Doublelicious. I guess that's a story too, but it's more spoken.
It's very prolific. It's a very prolific story. Here's what I would tell you. Oh, I saw Jarv in the chat. What up, Jarv? Jarv did make a point. They came on here first, and then I've returned the favor. But have they been on here twice?
I don't know. I lost track. I mean, we can figure those things out behind the scenes.
Yeah, we need to figure out. We got to watch Jarv until he's doing his arithmetic. You know what I'm saying?
Carry the one.
They be counting fast in New York. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, man, if you take this 1 and divide the 3 and multiply the 5 15 times, then we even. We even. I mean, like, hold on, fam. How we even?
Born King with the super chat. He says, R.I.P. Ahmad Jamal. All Nas fans should check him out. If you're unfamiliar with him, most of the piano sounds on Nasty Nas songs come from Ahmad Jamal. Yes, R.I.P.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the jazz pianist.
Yes.
Oh, not just, I mean, first of all, Jay Dilla is a big fan of his, Mike. That's Ahmad Jamal on my favorite Daylight track, Stakes is High. That's him.
I know that sound.
If I'm not mistaken, Nas has used him. I know Dilla's used him on a couple different things, Mike. I'm trying to think which common joint. They Say, Mike.
Is that the... They Say, okay, I can see that. I was going to say, is that the Electric Relaxation too? No?
No.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else.
I feel like it's something Tribe, though.
I know Dilla Stakes is High, and Dilla on They Say off of B is his. The World Is Yours is his. I feel like Pete Rock used them for something else too.
Oh, The World Is Yours? Okay, yeah, The World Is Yours. It's Your World? No,
They Say.
They Say. Okay.
I gotta look it up and see, but I know off the top of my head that They Say, Stakes is High by Daylight, and The World Is Yours all come from him.
All right, we got Mitch with the super chat. Says, saw Nas take a break from his tour with Mary J. Blige to perform a 25th anniversary of Illmatic show in Seattle. It was amazing, still classic. That live show that he did with the National Symphony Orchestra at the Kennedy Center, that was incredible. It's on streaming platforms.
Yes,
love that.
Primo used them. Mike, Primo used them for I Gave You Power. That's the other one I was thinking of. That's him when I Gave You Power too. That boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
The interesting thing about Illmatic too, and we're gonna get to that. Illmatic.
So think about it.
It replays very well.
Primo, Dilla, and Pete Rock sampled this man.
Yeah, he's a legend. The thing about Illmatic, it replays very well. Whether it's a live symphony orchestra, whether it is what Elzai did when he had Will Sessions come in there and replay this stuff. That's the part about Illmatic, and obviously Nas is Nas. but the producers on there, they know and knew what they were doing with the loops they were getting, with the cuts they were getting, because all of that stuff replays so well with live instrumentation, however you want to spin it. It's kind of like that whole science with Human Nature by Michael Jackson. Whenever people use that, flip it, every single time it works. You know what I'm saying? Great melodies always work.
It's not just the great melodies work, but you have to understand when Nas is selecting these records, it's not like he's just selecting like from one or two records.
Mm-hmm.
They're running through him. That's why it's like, well, if ever you knew that he wasn't a bad beat picker, it's like, well, here's actually the biggest evidence of him not being a bad beat
Oh,
picker.
right. No, you're right. Yeah, because
he's the one that picked these beats out of their catalogs and their stashes. See, the thing about it that made Illmatic special initially was that no producer tandem had gotten together and opened up essentially their catalog for an artist that wasn't a part of their camp.
What do you think possibly with Faith Newman's involvement and same thing with MC Serch? Do you think that, a lot of the times the team gets the credit because there were so many songs that were on Illmatic, but it was kind of a team decision for them to cut it down to that 9. So maybe people feel like, okay, well, the stuff that wasn't the best beats got cut, even though he did record those. You know what I mean?
What gloves say, though?
Yeah, it's always a lot of people in the room.
He said nobody does it alone, Coop.
Oh, no one does it alone. It's a team
So
effort.
he didn't. So nobody's saying he did it alone. We just saying he wrote it and recorded it.
But what
you know
I'm
what
saying
I'm saying?
is, I
but
think
as far as like the whole production, executive decision making, editing process, well, he had help.
Well,
Everybody
see, this is
else
the thing, though,
did
Coop.
too.
When you do something great, it's like the team gets the credit, but when it's less than that, you get the blame. And I think that's what we're seeing with Nas and this bad beat picking thing. No one wants to acknowledge the Illmatic part of it, but when you go on to, I say it was written, I Am, and things like that, which I think have excellent beats on them. Some of them are subpar, whatever, but we don't recognize the team that was involved there. No mention of Steve Stout, Trackmasters, and everybody else that was in the room for that project. But when you talk about the one that actually knocked it out the park, you get no credit for. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, just keeping it to Illmatic, it's just one of those things. It's like, well, we know how timeless the themes are. I think I've waxed poetic about that endlessly on here. And we know who he is as an MC and a Titan and, arguably the greatest MC of all time in many people's estimation, including mine. But, man, these beats are dope as fuck. Like, the beat The New York State of Mind is dope, Mike.
Yeah.
The beat The Life's a Bitch is dope. The
Yeah.
beat To The World Is Yours is dope.
Yeah.
Halftime, I'll tell you what.
Halftime is dope, too.
Halftime, this is what I mean. Halftime is one of those beats that when you play it in the speakers, it's like, oh shit. It's like, I didn't even know it was that dope. Memory Lane, Say Less.
Yeah.
One Love, Say Less.
Yeah.
Like, One Time for Your Mind knocks.
It does.
I was in the garden, Represent knocks. Represent was in the garden ringing out, Mike.
I love Represent.
Shit sounded great. Everybody loves Represent. Catch
Personal
me walking with a
favorite.
bop with my hat turned back. Love committing sins and my friends sell crack.
Yeah. Rocket Shot with the super chat says, I saw Andre 3000 walk by the Village in NYC this Sunday. He was holding Parisian flute. He supposedly played the flute randomly in public around NYC. Dope.
Okay. If that's where he is with his craft and how he wants to build it and expound upon it, I'm going to support him fully in those endeavors.
Of course. No, that's dope. CJ Kid with the super chat says, also didn't forget Coop 50/game versus the Haters Balls, Wayne/Lupe. Can't wait.
Oh, yeah, I did tell them that I would wax them. Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
they got
listen
Lupe
to
and who?
And Wayne. Because I think I forget how much shit I was talking to them. I was right about everything as usual.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were wrong. They didn't know anything. Hate. They didn't know nothing.
Leroy Green with the super chat says, "What up, A2HH? But Mike, without Ye, the blueprint would be Just Blaze and Ninth Wonder. So same outcome. Classic. I'll see you at the rap roundtable." Okay. First of all, we know what Just Blaze beats sound like before the blueprint, correct? They don't sound like soul samples. They're not
beats before the blueprint.
Well, I'll refresh in people's memory. You can go on Genesis, Busta Rhymes album. Listen to the beats that Just Blaze made before the blueprint. We could go to the Dynasty. The Dynasty intro, as dope as it is, it's not the soul sample Just Blaze that you get from You Don't Know song.
I like that Dynasty intro beat though.
Oh, it's incredible. No, I love that beat. I love Stick to the Script too. But these are more street oriented. I love Stick to the Script. I remember where I was when I heard Stick to the Script for the first time.
Who did 1900 Hustler?
Bink did that.
Oh, never mind.
And 1900 Hustler is the strongest beat, I think, on that. If you want to talk about blueprint style, I would say 1900 Hustler is the one that would actually make that album.
Here's a couple of suggestions on how you could finesse it. You find a dude in town, you send them a short message, say, "Hey, I'm new in town, I don't know my way around, but I got some soft white that should have come back brown. Get that butter all night, because most niggas don't know a brick from a bite. They keep buying hard white. Free tomorrow. What they say? If you free tomorrow night, we can meet and discuss price. FYI,
I've never been robbed in my life. That's conversational J, man.
It's some of the illest shit you'll hear, but it's so cool.
Tough to beat conversational J. Leroy Green with the super chat says Leroy Green says also Nas' father, who is a jazz musician, deserves some credit for the sound of Illmatic because the apple came from the tree. DJ Premier equals Illmatic too. I agree with that.
I think if I'm not mistaken too, Nas played instruments, like was playing the saxophone as a young kid and was pretty prodigious at it.
I can believe that. I know Rakim played the saxophone too. As did I. But whatever. I'm not no Rakim or Nas, but yeah.
No, but but I mean, being musically inclined does help you, musically.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Jay Short, you hear things that you wouldn't have heard otherwise. Jay Short with the super chat says, "Mike, I believe John Hernick Clark said, only debate your equals. All others you teach." Shout out to A2HH. You know what? You're right. I'll be doing some teaching on Monday. How about that? CJ Kidd with the super chat says, "People say Against All Odds is a better last song than It Ain't Hard to Tell." Nah, I don't think so. But I know people love Against All Odds, and I think Against All Odds also has that "You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You" effect as well. It being the last song on the last album that we knew that he recorded,
Well, it's the way that they're talking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's not even the song itself. It's the way they're talking, yeah.
Right. It's like when Pac is like, "I got my mind right. I got my money right. And now I want war." It's like, because he's gone by the time you hear that. And it's like, well, yeah, fam, we know.
Yeah. Andrew Green with the super chat says, "I only have one gripe for Illmatic. I wish all the producers remixed each other's songs like Tip did for Pete's The World Is Yours. That would be fantastic." I think that's a great idea. I think that's something that even can be done in today's time.
It's I would leave it alone at this point. But I think what we have is good though.
We flipped it and remixed Illmatic a lot of times. You know what I mean?
I don't want to hear New York State of Mind remixed at this point, or Life's a Bitch. It's like that chance is gone. There was a time where maybe I would have wanted to hear Dilla remix Life's a Bitch. You know what I'm saying?
You wouldn't want to hear Pete Rock remix The World Is Yours?
Well, Mike, I don't think that's happening because
No, but you know what I mean, like in a
would I like to hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it would be nice to hear it, Mike. I mean, I'm just a grown ass man, Mike. I'm just dealing with the realities of what's about to happen, and that shit ain't about to happen.
Yeah. Anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. Cam and Mace have a sports show right now, so
I'm talking about some of what I see.
Leroy Green with the super chat says, Mike, when you gave credit to Ye, you're also shedding light on why Nas got seen as a bad beat picker. The sound of Ye, Just Blaze, Timbo were his comp. I think, to mention some of those names, Timbaland specifically, I think where Nas got being pegged as a bad beat picker is when we saw him work with the same people that Jay-Z did, and it wasn't that same level. Timbaland specifically, right? We heard Jigga What, Jigga Who. We heard Snoopy track, and then you hear You Won't See Me Tonight. It's not the same level. They don't even sound like they came out in the same era.
It's very problematic.
And so it feels like to the listener, because back in the day when we bought CDs, we going through the pages, going through the credits, seeing who produced what. At least me and my crew were. So it is perceived that when you go through Volume 3 and you're seeing what Timbaland did and you go into them shits and they hot as hell, and then you going through I Am and you see what Timbaland produced and it's what it is, to that listener, it's like, oh, why he picked that beat? We're not thinking about how these things may have transpired. You know what I'm saying? We're thinking like in the like that Black what is it? Not the Black album, but the Fade to Black DVD, where Jay is in the studio with Timbaland. He's playing him beats, and he plays him the beat that Ludacris ended up picking up. You know what I mean? Like, we're thinking that's the process. From what I understand, based on I guess publishing and stuff like that. Those weren't even the beats that were being played in that setting. That was just something that they had to fill in, for DVD purposes.
I'm going to approach this with a little less vitriol than I usually do when addressing this matter. Mike, this is how the media controls the narrative once again. Mm-hmm. Because for everything that you're saying, that's accurate. But that's because that's how the media wants you to remember it. Mm-hmm. Why don't they want you to remember? I want you to think about this. If I'm not mistaken, Mike, isn't Doggy Style coming out in December of 1993, right?
November, but yes.
November of 93. Yeah. It's like late November. It's like Thanksgiving. Yeah. Illmatic comes out in April of 94, correct? Mm-hmm. Ready to Die comes out June of 94, right? Mm-hmm. Now, Illmatic is scrunched between... Damn all the rhymes, Mike. Production-wise, think about Doggy Style and Ready to Die and what those albums are, production-wise.
And Into the 36 Chambers. That's in the argument, too. And it came out that November.
And Midnight
Marauders. And Southern Playlist that came out the following week after Illmatic, actually.
So imagine being shrouded literally around... Production-wise, Mike, like not the albums themselves. I'm talking about production-wise. These are some of the best beats we've ever heard. Mm-hmm. And Illmatic is literally in the center of all that. Didn't nobody say nothing about the beats then when Illmatic came out around a whole bunch of other albums that were classically produced? So why are we not remembering that happened? You get what I'm saying? That's how the media controls things, because they try to make it, it's like, oh, well, when Nas and Jay was on the same thing. Well, Nas and Jay don't do the same thing.
I think that the Source Awards in 95 did a lot to, the Source being what it was. Nas. Yeah, with the Source being what it was at that time and being in New York, I think a lot of people expected them to give Illmatic the proper props. They were the ones that gave Illmatic 5 mics. They didn't give Ready to Die 5 mics. But somehow during the award,
or Doggy Style. How can think about this?
But no. But what I was going to say was
think about it. Wu-Tang got an award. Snoop and Dre got an award.
Right.
Biggie got awards. Everybody, Outkast got an award. Literally everybody that made classic stuff that was new got an award, except for Nas, but he's the one walking around with the 5 mic album.
Exactly. Their publication gave that album 5 mics, yet he didn't win anything at their awards show, and I think that did a lot in changing the course of how he was going to approach things, and also how that album's remembered. And then once he approached things in a different way, then people are saying things like being a bad beat picker or whatnot, and I think that kind of starts with the 95 Source Awards.
And listen, Mike, by the time that the 95 Source Awards came around, Mike, he had Rhyme of the Month or Rhyme of the Year in the Source like 4 times, like subsequent since then. And the AZ had actually been in there about 2 times too. So they were like notarizing what was like going on, like regularly, like the Verbal Intercourse verse, the Life's a Bitch verses, the what's the other one that they did? I Gave You Power got verse, like, you know what I'm saying? So like they're giving him, well, I Gave You Powers after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what the Source did in regards to Illmatic is kind of like, because I think they gave Ready to Die Album of the Year based on what Ready to Die did over that course of the year. So that's kind of like giving NBA MVP after the finals is over. Based on the regular season, there's no way that you give this album 5 mics and none of the other ones 5 mics and it doesn't get Album of the Year. Like, it should have been a shoe-in for that. Now, if you want to go back and give Ready to Die Album of the Year, that's fine, but Nas should at least get Lyricist of the Year. You know what I'm saying? Like, Big shouldn't have got both of those. And Big even said that.
Well, that's where I think the real quibble was, because I can remember everybody loving Snoop and loving Big. But Mike, and I'm very, very serious when I say this, nobody thought they were Nas on the mic in 94. Not as like an MC, not on some MC shit, Mike. No, not Big or Snoop. Not on some MC shit, Mike. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, and quite frankly, neither one of them in 94 have enough evidence of the contrary, even though Illmatic is significantly shorter than Doggy Style and Ready Today. Nas still has more evidence that he's a better MC.
Well, yeah. Big said himself, he was like, he felt like he had Album of the Year with Ready to Die, but he said Nas is Lyricist of the Year for what he did on Illmatic. I think that was a general consensus, but I think that the Source missed an opportunity because they gave the correct rating for Illmatic and they hurrahed themselves for giving. I think 5 mics, in my opinion, in my generation, I can't speak for it before.
Illmatic.
It really does start with Illmatic. Like that whole chase. We
didn't know that 5 mics mattered until Illmatic.
Exactly.
Mike.
That whole chase to get 5 mics and wanting to get that level of credibility kind of starts with Illmatic, at least for my, you know what I'm saying, my era. You know what I mean? And I think that it upped the level of what 5 mics even meant. And so for them to not award that at their own show, that's a real big missed opportunity.
Well, see, this is what I always tell people. It's like, no. There have been a lot of 5 mic albums. This is the 5 mic album. Like, I don't care what anybody said. Wasn't nobody sitting up here fighting about Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em like that. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or All for One. Or what's the other one that got it?
De La Soul is Dead. The Low End Theory, and People's Instinctive. Nobody was tripping.
No, and Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, right?
Yeah, nobody was tripping that Tribe got back-to-back 5 mic albums. Like, even though, in my opinion, they deserved it. But, you know.
No, this is what I'm saying, is that it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
When Nas got 5 mics in the Source for Illmatic, one of the hugest hip-hop deals ever.
It set the standard.
Yeah, it's the bar.
And they didn't. They literally didn't award
that. Purple Tape didn't get 5 mics the following year, Mike.
Right, and that's how you justify it, by having Illmatic sitting there.
By having Illmatic sitting there.
And they didn't award that, though. And that is the problem. And I think that's kind of what started. That started a lot of things, because why would an artist grow up to aspire to do Illmatic if it's not going to be appreciated by the same people that actually gave it a perfect rating? They missed an opportunity there. And I know that Benzino's been doing a lot of interviews and talking about some of those days. I didn't see his current interview, but I would like to wonder how that happened and how that transpired, because I think that he was really honest about the whole Outkast Southern Playalistic thing.
What, the 4.5?
Well, the media was trying to. I saw an article that rocked the bells, and shout out to them. You know, they do a good job. They wrote an article, and the tagline was Benzino credits himself with Andre's South Got Something to Say speech. And I clicked the link and I clicked the video on what he said. That's not really how he said it. You know, I guess because Benzino is who he is, people try to position it a certain way. He said, you know, I was one of those people, I'm not going to lie, when Outkast got 4.5 mics, you know, I was making a big deal about it. I was kicking up dust and basically trying to say that, you know, they didn't deserve that. He said he was wrong. He said, you know, word got out that I felt like that. And I think that may have been what prompted, you know, Dre to say some of those things. He was like, I could be wrong. Maybe it was something else. But, you know, if that wasn't what it was, you know, I just snitched on myself. You know what I mean? Like, you just tell him what it was.
No, I'm not even going to say it was an East Coast bias. It was just a tone to it when Southern Playlist came out. Even when the Source was rating the album, it's like I remember it being somewhere in the parentheses and being like, well, although they sound a little too bit much like Hyro for my taste. It's like, well, then why the fuck you giving it 4.5 mics? And why are you not keeping that comment to yourself as a journalist with some integrity?
They did a lot of that stuff.
Although they sound a little bit too much like Hyro for me. Motherfucker, go play hieroglyphics and shut the fuck up and edit that out. You feel me?
They did a lot of that back then. They did that to Black Star. They did that to Black Star with the Black Star.
But a lot of them are considered to be credible journalists in this field now. And I'm like, oh, no. I remember you. It ain't that credible to me.
Yeah, I mean, they did that with the Black Star debut album, and all they kept talking about was Tribe unnecessarily. I'm like, that's not fair. And you know me, I'm not the biggest advocate for, I mean, I like Black Star's debut album, but I don't think it's like classic like a lot of people think it is. But it's not 3.5 mics either. And the way that they wrote that review, it was like, damn, y'all trying to bury these guys before they start. Like, they didn't even deserve that.
It's an easy 4.
Yeah, it's an easy 4. Jay Short with the super chat says, honorable mention to Black Rob as a storyteller. The way he paces his flow on the Life Story song and the lady in the chorus singing like his mom, brilliant. Yes, Black Rob is a great storyteller.
I was actually going to say, I would take, you can take Andre out and put Black Rob in, actually.
For sure. As a storyteller,
yeah, Black Rob got Jasmine, I Dare You, Looking at Us with CeeLo, Life Story. Mm-hmm. He's a masterful storyteller.
Rachel Corin with the super chat says, bar work on Snoopy track is vicious. Yeah, it is. I love Snoopy track. Snoopy track is so underrated.
Snoopy track is. No, everybody knows what Snoopy track is.
Well, I mean, I just feel like it should get played more than it does.
That's the real Jay-Z Timbo pairing record, actually. Like, that's the one we all love.
LP with the super chat says, shout out to the greatest album of all time. Yeah, shout out to the greatest. Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat says, even Biggie felt Nas deserved Lyricist of the Year. Yeah. I mean, he made Illmatic. Like, it is what it is.
What are we talking about? Like,
Because we're not even talking about hit records. We're stripping all that away, right? We just talking about lyricists and lyricism. Yeah. I want to know, and again, that would be the direct question I would ask Benzino. How didn't Nas win Lyricist of the Year? Well, it's 2 questions. Like I said, how didn't he win Lyricist of the Year for Illmatic in the 95 Source Awards? That's objective, right? I don't think it's objective, honestly. At that point, he was ahead of everybody. But the thing that's not objective, you guys gave 5 mics to Illmatic. How does it not win Album of the Year? You know what I'm saying? Like, that should have been a foregone conclusion. Now, if they gave another album 5 mics, then yeah, okay, they duke it out. And then it becomes objective then. But you guys already gave Illmatic Album of the Year by giving it 5 mics.
I mean, you pretty much, so think about this. What came out? So, Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em and The Low End Theory is 91, right?
Yeah. What was the last hip-hop album to get 5 mics before Illmatic?
Which was it? The Low End Theory or Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em? Which came out first? That's why I'm asking.
I feel like I think Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em came out first. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong.
So the Low End Theory was the last album to get 5 mics before Illmatic. Mike, I think that's like, Mike, if I'm not mistaken, the Low End Theory may have came out on my birthday. It might have came out like October 2nd, like 1991, if memory serves. Something like that. Is it like around October 91, I feel like?
Let me look this up real quick.
Maybe the week after, like October 10th.
Let me see. 5 mic albums. I'm sure people putting it in the chat right now. 5 mic albums from the Source.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Y'all know everything.
They got an original.
Tell me when the Low End Theory came out, since you know so much.
All right, so here's the order. Yeah, you're right. Low End Theory was right before it. So here's the order. You got People's Instinctive, America's Most Wanted, Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, All for One, De La Soul Is Dead, The Low End Theory, and then Illmatic.
Okay, so when did the Low End Theory come out, though?
That was 91.
No, what month, though? That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
what month in 91? Let's see.
Yeah.
It was September 24th, 91.
I told you it was around my birthday. I remember.
So, yeah. They
so
had
think about this, Mike. Illmatic comes out in April of 94. So we're talking like 3.5 years.
Well, I got to be honest, Coop. I think the Low End Theory is the one that upped the level. Because they stopped giving 5 mics out after that, seems like, for 3 years. And they were like, oh, yeah, this is the bar now.
In fairness, Mike, the only albums between the Low End Theory and Illmatic that probably deserved it just, noticeably are the Chronic, Doggy Style, and Enter the Wu-Tang. So I'm okay with that kind of.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a tribe thing. So really, in retrospect, it was really 2 years before something came along that really should have got 5. Didn't Redman get 5 for What the Album? He didn't get 5 for that? That wasn't on there? Okay, that might have been 4.5.
But the Chronic is 92, so it's a year after the Low End Theory.
Yeah, the Chronic should have got 5.
It should have.
So,
but I think they probably used the Low End Theory to not give the Chronic 5. You know what I mean?
I understand that the Chronic's better than the Low End Theory. Not by a lot.
It is.
It is.
And you know me, I love Tribe.
No, it's like album number 9 of all time versus like album number 6 of all time. It's like not a big gap, but it's like, no, the Chronic's better.
Oh, it is. It is. I will not argue with you on that. And I'm a Tribe guy.
Right. It just is. It is. Yeah. The Chronic's like that. It's the Chronic.
Yeah. Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat says, Steve Stout said that Nas wanted the label to support and get him to perform at the Source Awards, and they didn't take it seriously. Huh. That politics, huh? Jay Short with the super chat says, hip hop is dead. Has some really good beats. Money Over BS, Hustlers with Dre, Kanye, Blunt Ashes, and it wasn't a good album. Beat argument is invalid. I want to go back to something that Blue Collar Hustle said. Wouldn't it be a shame if the reason why Illmatic didn't get Album of the Year at the Source is because he didn't perform on their stage?
It seems that's what happened. Because it seems like Puff was like, "Oh, you want Craig Mack to perform? Gotcha. You need Total and Big to perform? Can't you see? I got you. You need Big and Junior Mafia to perform? I got you." Because that's what happened.
That's a shame. And see, I think that publications and outlets need to learn from those type of situations. You can alter history nearly on a bad decision like that. Just do what's right.
A bad business decision by your label.
Yeah, just do what's right, man. You gave this album 5 mics. It's Album of the Year. Your journalistic credibility.
But here's how they're looking at it. They're like, but that album didn't even go gold. Why should we put more money into
Well, that's not on the label, in my opinion. I think that's on the Source. Because the Source gave it 5 mics. Now your journalistic credibility is out there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing.
You're the one that rated it this.
Well, now that we're bringing this up, Mike, this is what I'm saying. Some of the buzz is in the weight. But did you ever look at it like this? By giving it 5 mics and not giving it to the Chronic, Doggy Style, and Enter the Wu-Tang specifically, you're placing it on a level when you do that.
Of course
because think about giving those albums 4.5 for 2 and then 4 for Doggy Style and then giving him 5. You're saying it's a step above Doggy Style. You're saying it's a half step better than Enter the Wu-Tang and the Chronic. That's saying a lot.
That's saying a lot.
Saying a lot.
We know what Doggy Style
Mike,
is.
You're pretty much saying he's outperforming the 2 greatest camps that ever existed in hip hop history on a solo mission as an MC. Wu-Tang, Death Row.
And they had a choice to make when Ready to Die came out. They could have given that 5 mics, but they didn't.
They had heard Illmatic.
Exactly.
They had heard Illmatic.
Uh-huh.
That's why Ready to Die didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Ain't no giving no Ready.
Even with that being said, and rest in peace to Big, there's no way that you could justify giving that Album of the Year because y'all heard Illmatic, then y'all heard Ready to Die, and y'all didn't even give it the same rating.
Well, Mike, quite frankly, there ain't no friend of mine or respect on Illmatic.
It's not. And every writer and journalist knows that. But how do you justify that giving Ready to Die Album of the Year? Because like you say, it clearly has its flaws. I think Friend of Mine and Respect are the reasons that it did get, what did it get, 4.5?
Yeah, 4.5.
Yeah. Leroy Green with the super chat
Journalistic
says,
integrity lacking, Mike.
yeah. Leroy Green with the super chat says, do you guys remember the feeling you had when you first heard Nas is like? That's why Nas is called a bad beat picker. After that, that's the level. Okay, I understand that, and that's probably where that narrative comes
overrate
from.
Nas is like the beat.
I remember the first time I heard Nas is like, and I think I said on this show, maybe the last episode, I liked Hate Me Now until I heard Nas is like. And yes, it does raise the level, but are we going to sit here and hold everybody to one of the best beats that they ever picked? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like me sitting here saying...
beats, Mike, like the New York State of Mind beat, the New York State of Mind 2 beat. It's like, don't do that. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, no, he just some of the beats he got just from Primo is some of the best rap beat stuff you're gonna find. Like, what are we doing?
Well, also, that I think that argument would be valid, though, if Primo did Nas's whole album or something. You know what I mean? Then you could say that, but everybody's not Primo, clearly.
Right.
You know, and I say that respectfully. Y'all know who's on that album from a production standpoint. A lot of great producers, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, dope producers, but they're not Primo. So to sit here and say the Primo track is the standard, well, that's Premier. You know what I mean? Like, he's a different kind of guy. Melvin Wright with the super chat says, nobody really knew who Nas was when he got 5 mics. I can remember opening the magazine and seeing like, wow, it was a heavy statement. Okay.
That's the thing. I don't know if I agree with that statement because it's like even me down here, Mike, like, no, like Halftime's on the Zebrahead soundtrack.
I heard from the OGs there was a buzz. I mean,
yeah, there's the Live at the Barbecue verse. There's the Back to At the Grill Again verse. Yeah, no, that's not totally accurate. Like, keep in mind, like, Snoop had a buzz, and all Snoop had was deep cover.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, he had G-Thang running around out there, too. Are you talking about before that?
Right, I'm talking before that. Think about that. Like G-Thang's, like, if I'm not mistaken, like, that's, like, about 8 9 months after Deep Cover. So, you know what I'm saying?
Jack777 says, growing up in the 2010s, Illmatic is still my favorite ever. That's awesome. And I want to know the people people in the 2010s, why do you feel that way? Is it the lyricism? Is it the songs and how they come together? Is it the production? Or, like, what is it? The timeless themes, huh?
The timeless themes, Mike. This is why it's going to span generations. The themes are timeless. You can feed that to somebody that was born in 2010 and play it for them in 2023 when they're 13 years old, and they'll understand life's a bitch.
Yeah, somebody made a good point. Tribe was shouting out Nas on Midnight Marauders. Yeah, people knew who he was.
Right.
Yeah.
That's before Illmatic, Mike.
The buzz was around. And, you know, it's interesting, man, even myself, trying to remember how it was when records used to come out. Like, now, I mean, we got a Swiss Beats album coming out Friday. It has Jay-Z on it with Wayne, and Nas has a full song on it. I haven't heard anything on it. I'm sure some stuff is leaked, whatever. But back then, man, like, the album could come out in April, and you be hearing some songs in the previous September or something. And I think that a lot of people who didn't grow up in that era can't even fathom how that works. It's hard for me to even remember how that works. You know what I'm saying? So I would imagine in 93, even outside of the Zebrahead stuff, it ain't hard to tell was buzzing out there. Probably had a video on television and everything.
What was it? Ralph Daniels, what did he do? Video Box? What was it?
Music Box? Video Music Box.
Video Music Box. There it is.
Jay Short with the super chat says, I know I'm going to get ethered for this, but I'm not mad at Ready to Die over Illmatic. Big pushed himself on Give Me the Loot, Suicide, etc. Not saying Illmatic isn't great, but I give it to the creativity. I mean, that's not a bad statement. All I'm saying is, and I'm not mad at them picking Ready to Die over Illmatic per se. My quorum is the fact that they gave Illmatic 5 mics, and they gave Ready to Die 4.5. And so
Well,
with
Mike,
that
that's-
right
that's
there,
saying- that's
you
saying
just
it
gave
all,
it
though.
album of the year. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So when you're saying you don't have a problem with them giving Ready to Die album of the year, it's like, well, I do, because you said Illmatic was album of
Yeah.
the year, specifically over Southern Playalistic and Ready to Die.
No, like I said,
Specifically.
I don't have a problem with it in a vacuum. You know what I mean? Like I think Jay
I
Short
still
makes
have
a
a
good
problem
point.
with it in a vacuum, Mike. There ain't no damn friend of mine or respect on Illmatic. It's not the same type of classic.
It's
Some classics are flawless, Mike.
it is. It's flawless. I will give him that. But one
When
could
I mean
argue that the
hold on,
big
Mike,
moments
I want to qualify
on
some. When
Huh?
I say some, I mean not a lot.
well, one could argue that the big moments, no pun intended, on Ready to Die are just massive and bigger than the Illmatic moments. And that's why I'm saying that's more of them picking the league MVP after the finals. You know what I mean? Like, no, you got to go with the regular season. You got to
Let's play
go with
devil's
what it
advocate
was.
right quick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Unbelievable is a better preem record than the records on Illmatic? Because Nas got 3 preem records.
I think...
Because think about it, that's Represent, Memory Lane, and New York State of Mind.
Of
Is
course.
Unbelievable better than those records?
I'm going to be perfectly honest, and out of the 3, and I'm taking bias, my individual bias out of it. Out of the 3, my personal favorite is Represent. But I think that's probably the one that Unbelievable's better than.
It is.
Yeah.
And I would agree. Yep.
You know, and again, it's kind of like my whole Michael Jackson Thriller, Baby Be Mine. That's my personal favorite record, but I'm not going to go to Matt with anybody saying that record's Billie Jean or something. It's not. You know what I'm saying? So, but yes, I think that Unbelievable is probably better than Represent. It's not better than New York State of Mind or Memory Lane, though.
Right. So
Illmatic doesn't have a Juicy on it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is this about Juicy and Big Papa being big radio-friendly records as opposed to They Ain't Hard to Tell and The World Is Yours being, more like hip-hop influenced street records? Because here's the thing about it. It Ain't Hard to Tell and The World Is Yours are better records than Big Papa and Juicy, like inherently. Like if I was picking It Ain't Hard to Tell or Juicy as a hip-hop fan, well, I'm picking It Ain't Hard to Tell, although I know what Juicy is. It's like if I'm picking The World Is Yours or Big Papa, it's like I'm picking, or even if it's Warning or The World Is Yours.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? It's like
was the One More Chance remix out before the Source Awards?
If it wasn't, they had probably heard it.
I think it was out. I feel like it was. Correct us in the chat if we're wrong, but again, I think that those remixes, that one specifically, probably clouded the judgment. But again, you have to name the MVP after the regular season. You can't wait until, playoff series after playoff series and, all of those things are won. Because if that was the case, Jokic wouldn't have any league MVPs. You know what I'm saying? And he's probably going to win his 3rd.
No. Embiid got this.
Think so?
Yeah, Embiid.
What was his average, man? Like, I ain't going to front. If there was a year, you know how I feel about Jokic, man. I'm not a big fan in that way because of his playoff play. But if there was a year where he deserved the MVP, his numbers this year were crazy.
The numbers were crazy. First of all, there's a couple things going on.
And they're number 1.
The number 1 seed I will give them. It's been a really, really weird year. What I will tell you is that Embiid, if you look at Denver and you look at Philly, Jokic actually has more help than Embiid.
Of course.
Because
Yeah, no.
They have a deeper and a better team than Philly does.
Of course.
First
I think
of all,
we look at James Harden, but yeah.
And let's not take this lightly. Embiid just led the league in scoring, okay? As a big man, that's hard for big men to do. It's like the last big man to win 2 scoring titles is Kareem. Like Shaq got 1, David Robinson got 1. The last big man to win multiple scoring titles is Kareem. So big men don't win multiple scoring titles like that, for one. So what he just did is just a very hard feat. Then you look at his field goal percentage, which is, I believe, is like over 55%. Then you look at his free throw percentage from the line, Mike, as a 7'1" center, which is like 88% from the line. And then you look at his rebounds, which I think is top 5 in the league. His blocks is top 5 in the league. That's what I mean. It's like, no, he having an Akeem type season. It's like, no, this motherfucker out here getting 30 and 12 and 3 blocks. It's like, no, MVP.
You remember when Cleveland was going to draft him? This is when LeBron was in Miami about to come back. And then last minute, there was an injury, shown that he had.
The back issue at Kansas. I remember.
And I was like, this is me. I was like, they should draft, they should draft him anyway. And I like Wiggins. I like Wiggins a lot. I still do. I was like, man, they should draft him anyway. I remember watching that game that he had got hurt in, Mike.
That game he got hurt in? Oh, no, he looked like Olajuwon in that game. That's when he was a little bit smaller and slimmer then, too. I was like, I don't give a shit. Is his back broken? Draft his
Now, granted, he was out for a minute, so it wasn't it was a real concern. He was out for a minute.
Big men don't move like that. Like the way he moved even at Kansas, Mike, he had a bad back and he was moving like that at Kansas. It's like, no, draft him. I'll take him 7 years healthy.
I think he was out for like 2 seasons, right?
Like I said, give me 7 years of him healthy and we'll be just fine.
See, they're going through this with Zion now, you know what I mean? But
Zion not Embiid.
No, he's not. No. But yeah, I'm sitting there like, man, Cleveland should have.
And that's a Kansas guy. Zion's not Embiid.
But it's interesting, man, because if Cleveland would have drafted him, I don't think they would have gotten LeBron and they wouldn't have gotten that championship. So you could say that short term it worked out for Cleveland, but long term, damn, they could have had Embiid, man.
No, Embiid would have given LeBron more reason to come back and to stay because he would have just been like, no, I'm going to stay in transition with this big man because that's the whole point of getting Anthony Davis was to find a younger big man to transition with. I'll take Embiid over AD every day.
But he wasn't on the court, though. I think that was the thing for LeBron. Like, LeBron wanted some new moving pieces where he could have actually, jumped in and been able to be productive, right away. But Kyrie was there, and Embiid would have been, that's crazy, man. A healthy Embiid, LeBron, and Kyrie.
Dynasty.
That's crazy. That could have happened.
Yeah.
Could have happened. Mitch with the super chat says, I'm surprised y'all don't mess with respect like that. I love respect. I just said that. Oh, he's talking about respect. I'm thinking represent. No, I don't really love respect like that. He said, I thought it was still a good track. Only miss on Ready to Die is Friend of Mine. I look at respect like I look at One Time for Your Mind. I'm not saying they're bad songs, but based on the level that has been set on that album, they could have done without it. And Puffy's a genius, right? When it comes
One Time for Your Mind's way better than Respect.
I think so too. Puffy's a genius though when it comes to putting together albums. I think that he kept Respect because of Biggie's roots, his Caribbean roots, and I think Friend of Mine's there because they tried to do something different. It could have possibly been a hit, and he had a lot of songs. You know what I mean? Like I think that he probably was. They were selling on the full package, like Jay Short was saying. Like I got a guy that can do all type of songs. And I think that that's why those songs made it, even though they were less than the level of what, Biggie had displayed on the previous songs on that album. But I think that was more about a range thing. And they knocked the range thing out the park on Life After Death. So I think that's what Respect and Friend of Mine were on there for.
You can hear Biggie's range is different than Nas's on Machine Gun Funk. You don't even got to go to the hit records. You know, just in the case, the rocket launcher, Biggie stomped ya, high as a motherfucking helicopter. Nas didn't flow like that. You know what I'm saying?
You know, you and I always talk about the Get Money remix, and I was talking to somebody today about the One More Chance remix. And it's funny when I heard Puff say, that's when Biggie put it in a whole nother gear. And I do feel like that Biggie that we laud so much for Life After Death kind of starts there. Even that, like, what is that? Major Pain, like Damon Wayne. Low Down Dirty even, like his brother Keenan, scheming. Don't leave your girl around me, true player for real, ass Puff Daddy. You bringing bells with bags from Chanel, baby Benz, trading in your Honda XL. Fully equipped CD changer with the cell. GB, like he's dancing on this record. It's like, whoa, this is a hit song. First 24 bars.
No. See, the Get Money remix is where it starts, is what I keep telling you. See, we're both saying the same things. It's just you got to put it on the timeline. See, the Get Money remixes before, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it? I felt like it was after. I could be wrong. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says the impact of Ready to Die was a lot more impactful instantaneously on a national mainstream platform. Illmatic's impact was slightly a slow burn. And again, that's because of the hit records. Hit records will make you impactful instantly because people get the hits. Mitch with the super chat says, also, I think Big got an idea of the remix on One More Chance from Big L, used the same sample beat, and Big/Puff used it right after it blew up. I remember Flex talking about that. I remember, what was that, the MVP remix? They used that DeBarge sample. But
no, you're right. The Get Money remix is after. It's after?
Okay. Big was dancing on that remix, and I was like, I just remember hearing that as a kid. Like, I gotta memorize this song. Like, I don't think I've ever heard any, other than Tretch, I don't think I ever heard anybody rap like that on a hit song at that point. Like, because the hits is kind of when
Biggie
you dial it
Biggie
down.
was doing, like, Illmatic is more of your traditionalist hip hop album. That's what I keep trying to say. Biggie was the one that was kind of broadening the spectrum and trying different things. But what I'm trying to say is that although he was great, he wasn't sticking his landing the way Nas is sticking the landings on Illmatic. You know what I'm saying?
You know when I felt like that about Nas though, like what I said about Big on the Street Dreams remix. I was like, he's really rapping like this on a single, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. He was on all that performing on Nickelodeon.
I think you mean on a hit single.
Yeah. Like a song that was made for the radio, because that's usually when people dial it down. He was on Nickelodeon's All That rapping this record. I'm like, yo, he's going bananas on here. Mm-hmm. Melvin Wright with the super chat says, we mainly listen to West Coast and South in the D. Above the Rim soundtrack came out the same time as Illmatic, and that took some of the shine too. Them soundtracks again, bro.
Soundtrack.
I had that.
Yeah, because think about it. That's got Afro Puffs, Pour Out a Little Liquor.
Anything, SWV.
Anything. Hold on. The H-Town record.
Yeah, forgot about that.
Part-Time Lover by H-Town.
Yeah. And you know what else they were playing down here? See, I was going to say that. They were playing Sweet Sable back in the day. They were playing that on the radio heavy down here.
They played it heavy in Charlotte, too, Mike. The Sweet Sable. I remember when we used to chill back when. That one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That song got a lot of burn.
That was the name of the record. Old Time's Sake. Yeah, that was, Mike, they played that. That made the top 8 at 8 in Charlotte, for infinity, Mike.
That was a big record.
Played every night.
That's one of those bigger records that never had a music video.
It was big in the hood, Mike.
It was
big in the neighborhood.
It's like Summertime in the LBC big.
Dove Shack. Yeah, Dove Shack. That shit was a banger.
Yeah, it was. I'm going to listen to that shit tonight. Jack777 with the super chat
says. I got that on my playlist still.
He says, what do you guys think is the best album of the 2010s?
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Because it came out in 2010.
I might go with that one. It's the supreme clientele of the 2010s. It came right at the beginning of the 2010s. I think it's either that, To Pimp a Butterfly. That's the conversation. That, To Pimp a Butterfly. I guess Good Kid, Mad City's in there too.
It's for me. It's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I think so too. Good Kid, Mad City. And this is why I would give My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy that over the other ones. It gave you the 2010s. It gave you Nicki. It gave you Ross. You know what I'm saying? Push. It gave you Cudi. It gave you Push. It gave you what was coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was Mike, that decade.
Rooted, but Mike, also too, it's rooted in some rap shit. Like, he's got RZA on there. He's got Ray on there. He's got Jay on there. So he got his rap shit covered too.
And then somebody like a Sci-Hi on there. You know what I'm saying? It's just bars.
Yeah. X Factor stuff. Yeah. Sci-Hi.
And it's got the hits on there too. I think
it's got everything, Mike.
Yeah, I think Power.
His bar work and what he does best is at its zenith on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Too many, what do you say?
too many Urkels on your team. That's why your wins low.
That why we pull the toys out.
The bar work is stellar from Kanye.
Or
Tell
the-
SNL, kiss my whole ass.
What's a black beetle
hold on.
anyway? A fucking
More specifically,
roach?
they can kiss my asshole. Yeah.
I'm an asshole. You niggas got jokes.
Short-minded niggas' thoughts is Napoleon. My furs is Mongolian. My ice bought the goalies in. It's like, oh shit. It's like, oh shit.
Right. What do you say?
Mike, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is his best bar work. That's what people keep forgetting. It's like, no, like the motherfucker like that you think can rhyme his ass off. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was when Kanye's rhyming his ass off.
What do you say? The system's broken, the prison's open, the school's closing, or something. I think I got it backwards. School's closing, the prison's open. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff on there.
With some light-skinned girls and some Bravo, yes.
And what's a black beetle anyway? A fucking roach? I guess that's why they got me sitting in fucking coach. My guy said I need a different approach because niggas is looking at me like I'm sniffing coke. It's not funny anymore. Try different jokes. Tell them hug and kiss my ass.
Kiss my ass.
X and O. Yeah.
Act like I ain't have the belt in 2 classics. I'm coming after for whoever who has it.
Coming after whoever
who has it.
You blowing up? That's great.
That's good.
Fantastic.
No, he's the fucking man on that album.
Yeah, he is. LP with the super chat says, Puff and Big was smart not to try to make their version of ill. Puff knew it needed hits and more appeal, but there's still ill influence on Ready to Die. It sure is. I mean, I think it's a mixture of, the Chronic, Doggy Style, and Illmatic.
That's how Primo ended up on Unbelievable. It's one of the last editions. That's the Illmatic effect.
Yeah. Leroy Green with the super chat says, how do you guys think so highly of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy but not Watch the Throne? They almost the same sound, same kind of verses, same feel, etc. Jay had bar work on that album too. You can't believe that they're like on the same level, Leroy. You can't believe that.
Was that Leroy?
Yeah. I like Watch the Throne. I'm higher on Watch the Throne than
Leroy's
Coop
going
is.
too far. We might have to cut Leroy's water off. We might have to ban Leroy from the chat for a week for that. That's doing too much.
Listen.
You're doing too much. That is absurd. That is Leroy, that might be the most absurd comment you have made since been doing this show. Like, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is a masterpiece amongst masterpieces that would survive in any era. And Watch the Throne has niggas in Paris.
Well, I don't think that you ever really articulated what your problem with Watch the Throne is. Because me personally, I think it's
Mike. What about?
Okay, go ahead. I was just gonna say I don't love it as much as most people do, but I think it's a cool album. I think that I expected more from these two guys coming together, but that's
Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Okay, what's your problem with
what I'm saying?
Watch the
It's
Throne?
so disrespectful. What? How did that John Henrik Clark thing go? Like, you don't argue with people, and then you teach.
Yeah.
Teaching moment. This is a teaching moment. Let's have a teaching moment. You want to know what, Mike?
What's your problem with Watch the Throne?
No. I would like for you to go ahead, pull up Watch the Throne's track list.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. I think that's a good idea.
Some of the dumbest shit. Leroy, shame on you, man.
Shame the devil. The devil is a lie. All right, Watch the Throne. Here we go. No Church in the Wild.
Dark Fantasy.
Oh, this what we're doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Dark Fantasy. Lift Off.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. Niggas in Paris.
Power.
Huh.
I
think Niggas in Paris is the bigger record, but I think Power is the better song. We just were going through the bars.
Ditto.
Otis.
All of the Lights.
I'm going to give that one to Otis, but not by a lot. Not by a lot.
You're not, Mike, you understand you're not about to win too many more records, though, right?
Oh, these are some of the strongest ones.
You know you're going through the strong part of the album right now, Mike.
Yeah, Gotta Have It.
Monster.
Well, that's Monster, and I love Gotta Have It. New Day.
So Appalled.
I didn't like New Day at all anyway. That's not even close. All right. That's My Bitch.
Devil in a New Dress.
Woo! I like That's My Bitch. Shout out to Q-Tip on the production, but no, that's Devil in a New Dress. Welcome to the Jungle.
Runaway.
Runaway.
Are you looking at what you're making me do? We compare and watch the throne of my beautiful dark twisted fantasy. It's out here washing Watch the Throne. And think about the records that lost. Power and All the Lights lost to niggas in Paris and Otis.
I still think, I think Power's the better song. But if you want to give him that, it's fine. Did we do Welcome to the Jungle?
It lost to Runaway.
Okay, Runaway, that's right. Who Gonna Stop Me?
Hell of a Life.
I like Hell of a Life.
You're not winning, Mike.
Yeah.
Like, it's not winning anything versus... Like,
I got one. Murder to Excellence.
Blame game.
Yeah, Murder to Excellence. Man.
You can have that. You won 3 out of 11. Great job.
I counted 2, but if you want to give it to niggas in Paris, that's fine.
Actually, you want to know what? I'll call niggas in Paris and Power a tie. Because the beat is on one side, but the work is on the other. The bar work is on one, the beat is on the other.
I think Power's the better song in my opinion. But
I think Power's the better song from beginning to end, yes.
Yeah. You got that whole Dwell drop and all that. Like,
hold on. But as crazy as it is to say this, it's not as iconic. So
it's not.
I would say it's a tie.
It's for me, it's that Bonds Over Bad Dad argument. Like, yeah, I can't really prove it, but I know that Power's the better song.
No, I hear what you're saying, but it's a tie on a good day.
Yeah.
And today's a good day.
Made in America.
Lost in the World.
Not a fan of either one of those songs, but Lost in the World is probably the better record.
Yeah.
Why I Love You featuring Mr. Hudson.
Who Will Survive in America?
Well, that's kind of a sketch.
Yeah.
Jay Short with the super chat.
You got the point though, Mike. Did you get the point?
I got the
Leroy
point.
got the point. Not the same level. It's like one album's all time great, the other album's okay.
Yeah. Jay Short with the super chat says, do you think that Pusha's lack of respect had to do with him starting with the Neptunes? Honestly, people were looking side-eyed to clips at first until they proved them wrong with their bars. I don't know. I mean, I think that people might feel like Pusha's privileged in that sense where he's worked with the Neptunes and Kanye. I can see how artists could feel a way about that and be like, yo, man, this dude's always had great beats around him.
I mean, he grew up around the Neptunes.
Yeah, literally, can't help his whole career.
His whole career, think about this, his whole career, he's literally had the Neptunes, Timberland, or Kanye at his disposal.
Right. That's incredible. Yo, Coop, can you hold it down real quick? I got to check something at the door real quick.
Hell yeah. I'd like to welcome everybody to the dark side.
Go ahead. I'll be right back.
No. I'm just joking. Actually, I want to talk about what we're doing. Mike B and I, in According to Hip Hop, are getting together with 8 a.m. Entertainment and with High Spirits Bartending, our dear friend Sequoia, and we're doing a Juneteenth event. It's going to be Saturday, June 17th. The ticket is up on Eventbrite. We're going to have about 20 vendors. We're going to have live hip-hop performers. You can check the flyers and stay updated for that. We're going to be doing some community initiatives and outreach. I'm still in the process of reaching out to some organizations right now. Literally going to be hearing some things back tomorrow. Anytime we do something that's going to be community outreach, I want to shout out Fred and Chiquita down at the Metro Fun Plaza down at 1959 Metropolitan. We're going to be teaming with them in the future to do a lot of things. They are actually, Fred, guys, and listen to me, and this is for everybody in Atlanta, Fred hosts a free workout aerobics class every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Look up FDL Compound on Instagram. Fred wants it to be the largest free workout event, like literally in the nation. It's free. He does it every week. He is the owner. He is the only black owner of his own gym and lot in this entire city. Everybody else pays somebody else to be on their property. Fred owns the whole lot on Metropolitan. He and Mike B and I sat down today and talked about some very, very visionary things. We're going to start with the Juneteenth event and keep things rolling. Definitely stay tuned with us in that matter. And everybody in Atlanta, be reaching out to FDL Compound. You can follow them on Instagram and Facebook. and just go out and get healthy. We're going to have an initiative and an event real soon to help encourage Black men over 35 to engage in some healthier habits. We're going to be having a giveaway real soon, and Fred's going to be doing the donating for that. There's going to be some free weights and free clothing and free shoes being given away, but we want to encourage our Black men to be healthy. A lot of you all who follow According to Hip Hop know that we have experienced a lot of deaths in the hip hop community just in the 3 years that we've done this show. And it does not strike me as a coincidence that most of those men are between the ages of 40 to 60 in the Black community that we've been losing. So just want to say all that right quick, and we will get back to your regularly scheduled program. Now look here, I'm serious about this Wednesday workout at the FDL compound though. Free workout. All right, fellas, I seen some of the videos. I've seen some of the sisters in there. Some of you single fellas that need to get in shape and need to find a good woman might need to slide on into the free event as well. Back to Illmatic. My favorite Illmatic song when I was younger was always The World Is Yours. And then it was Memory Lane, and I used to argue about the two. But it's funny over time what makes a classic is I think during different points of my life, different songs have become my favorite song. Like my cousin got locked up in 96. He's in Terre Haute. He's still in Terre Haute. And One Love became my favorite song for a long time because that's how we ended our letter. So the timeless things of Illmatic kind of like carry you through different times. So I kind of want to hear from everybody, how would you rank the top 3 tracks on Illmatic, like in order? Like for me, I would probably say I would go The World Is Yours, Memory Lane, and One Love, like on a personal level. Tell me what y'all think. I see we got the truest up in here. He's probably been hating, talking about running like a cheetah. Very problematic. Yeah, One Love is timeless. That's what I mean. But all the themes on Illmatic are timeless. Like New York State of Mind is a timeless theme. Life's a Bitch, timeless theme. The World Is Yours, timeless theme. Halftime, timeless theme. Memory Lane. All the themes are timeless. I think that's why it's held up so well, too, is that they really did choose topics and subject matter. They didn't just pick the best records. They picked the records that were going to stand up the test of time the best. And I think that's a testament to not just Nas, but the whole team and how the album was put together. I was actually thinking about doing a show and doing like a song-by-song breakdown of the album because I know the album so well backwards and forwards, as I'm sure like some of y'all do. But it's like really they don't make albums like this anymore that are meant to be this cohesive either, is one of the things that I noticed when I was actually listening to it today, because I actually did listen to it from beginning to end for the first time today in a long time. It's really complete. The song sequence and the structure is flawless on there. Mike B is gone. I should risk our copyright and play some Illmatic right quick. But I think Nas and his people watch the show, so they're probably going to flag me if I do that. Shout out to everybody that's in the room, too. While we're waiting for Mike to get back, we do want to cover a couple more topics. Like we still want to get to some MC ratings. As a matter of fact, when Mike D gets back, I would actually kind of like to go into the next segment by going through Nas on the MC ratings. Because if I'm not mistaken, where do we have him right now? We have him up on, I can't remember where we were last. I feel like we had him up against Kanye, or did we have him higher than that? Does anybody remember where we were last week with the ratings? Because I think like today's actually a good day to do the Nas rating. Yeah, I like One Time for Your Mind. Yeah, Memory Lane, yep. I think Memory Lane is the joint where it's like you hear the MC that he is. Like Memory Lane for me is the joint where all his MC skill comes together. It's like the nostalgic classic themes, the vivid poetry, the spiritual side of him, lyrical side of him. Like I feel like it all comes out and all comes together on Memory Lane, and it's at that perfect place in the album right after halftime to kind of like switch it, because you know, like what I like also too is that the mood on Illmatic is a roller coaster. It really takes you through a lot of highs and lows. It's like, New York State of Mind is very hard hitting and up in your face and forthright, kind of like a New Yorker. And then Life's a Bitch is more subtle and more smoothed out and more jazzy. And then tempo kind of kicks back up a little bit with The World Is Yours, but it still has like a similar melodic vibe to Life's a Bitch, but the tempo's kicked up. Halftime hits you really, really hard, kind of like in the same manner that the New York State of Mind does. It's that boom bap, so it's like going back down the hill again. And then you get to like Memory Lane and One Love and One Time for Your Mind, and it's like almost like this really like melodic, like boom bap, like smoothed out, and then Represent like kicks it back up the way Halftime in New York State of Mind then, and then like It Ain't Hard to Tell kind of. Yeah, no, I'm with you, Jack. Like, I think Memory Lane is the record on there that gives you that feeling. Like, I remember when I heard it for the first time from beginning to end, Memory Lane was the record that made me a fan of him. Like, who is this guy? Like, really? Because of the feeling that it gives you. And I think he was talking from the perspective that we could, like, all understand if you came from, like, any sort of inner city environment, or came from any sort of like angst-driven situation, one for the money, two for pussy and foreign cars, that's the thoughts of a young project black male in the 80s and in the 90s. And so he really like encompassed like a lot of feelings and a lot of motifs and archetypes that resonated in every hood. It was kind of funny, like, even though I wasn't from New York, I understood why he did New York State of Mind. It was one of those things that niggas in other hoods in other parts of the country kind of like related to it, because he was talking about how his neighborhood was. And it was kind of funny. Like when he talked about being in the Breezeway, there used to be a neighborhood on West Boulevard called Little Rock, and it had breezeways, and it was kind of more built like maybe you would say like a New York style, like tenement building with the breezeways in it. And so when I think about that verse, when he's spitting right there, I actually think about the breezeways in Little Rock on West Boulevard in Charlotte. And so that was one of the things about the imagery of the album. He was describing his hood, but you realize when he was describing his hood that his hood wasn't that much different than ours, and it kind of resonated like that. I used to talk to my older brother, one of my twin brothers, and he's a big UGK fan. But he used to tell me that, when he had Illmatic in high school, like all the niggas in the A had Illmatic too and was playing it in the streets and stuff. So it had that type of effect, not only like musically, but like in the community. It was like important to the hood in different neighborhoods outside of New York. You all good, Mike?
I'm good. Had to get a tow truck out here, so all kind of stuff going on today. Where am I at? What did we miss?
Oh, I'm just running my mouth. Just talking about Illmatic.
It's Illmatic.
Right. I was actually saying, Mike, where are we with the MC ratings? Because I know we were rating Nas last. It is Illmatic Day. I kind of feel like maybe we should kind of like...
We can. I know that we got people wanted that Nas and Pac thing. I ain't gonna lie, man. I got drained from that Ghost, Ray, and Snoop thing. I was like, I love Ray.
Well, now we got Snoop at 11. Snoop at 10, Ghost at 11, Ray at 12, Kanye at 13.
Okay.
Now,
let me go through these super chats real quick. I want to make sure we caught up on these.
Go ahead.
Chris says, Coop, y'all still like Teflon Don better? Better than Watch the Throne, I think he's saying.
What's on Teflon Don? Is that BMF on there and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Teflon Don, I think, is his breakthrough. I think Here I Am is on there, too.
Let's pull up
That's when Ross became Ross.
Pull up a little Teflon Don on that ass. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Freemason with Jay-Z, Tears of Joy, Maybach Music 3, Super High, BMF, MC Hammer, Aston Martin Music. Yes.
Yeah.
Mike, I keep telling you, the way people be like feeling about Watch the Throne, it be cracking the 80s, Mike.
Why do you think people think so highly of the album?
I don't know. I think it really is shrouded in the lore that is Jay-Z and Kanye separately and together. Mike, the album's not like that. It was never like that, though.
I'm not going to lie. When I first heard it, I was slightly disappointed, but I think it's because they took on a sound that I didn't want from them. I loved Otis. You know what I mean? Niggas in Paris is cool. Go ahead.
Nobody likes to hear Jay-Z playing Follow the Leader to Kanye. Like on some real shit, like just like on some kind of like my street aesthetic didn't like it, Mike. It's like, oh, you rapping over Ye shit now? Ain't you Jay? What are we doing here, fam? And and furthermore, since we're gonna dig into it, Mike, why are you letting Ye stun on you like this on these?
Well, Jay has so many dimensions to him as an MC.
Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit.
No, what I'm saying is he has so many dimensions to him, so it's like there's certain Jays that we like more than the other. And like not Nas, like Kanye said on the College Dropout, like I ain't really want the introspective Jay, but you know, who am I? I'm sitting there riding the train. But I did want the introspective Jay with Kanye. Like I liked what they did with The Joy. That's what I would have liked the album to sound like more. But again, that's me.
Hey Mike, I'm not being funny when I say this. Where the street shit at?
There is none.
You asking me what's wrong with it?
Yeah. I think Otis might be the street shit on there. I think sonically they were going for the future, and that kind of fits Kanye a little better than it does Jay. Is that fair to say?
You just tell me that Otis was the street shit?
I think so.
Listen to what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I mean about him playing Follow the Leader Kanye. Because if that's your street shit, that's right up Kanye's album. This ain't late registration, nigga.
I felt like production-wise, and Leroy Green is kind of on point with this. I feel like production-wise, Watch the Throne was kind of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy Part 2. Yeah. But it wasn't, it was just like most sequels are. It's not the original.
It's not as good though, right?
Right. And I think also, you guys are going to hate me for saying this, and this is no knock to Jay, I think the album probably would have been better if it was just Kanye, because that stuff fits him more than it does Jay.
That was the problem with the album. You got Jay squeezing into a box that's really Ye's box. First of all, I'm going to tell you something. It's very problematic when you have an album with Jay-Z and Kanye's out rapping Jay, and the best beat on the album doesn't come from Kanye and it comes from Hit Boy. Hell no, that album ain't no classic. What's wrong? Like, listen what you just said out. Listen what I just said out loud. Kanye's out rapping Jay. Kanye didn't even do the best beat on the album. Y'all think that's classic? What we doing?
I think the best beat on the album, I could see Niggas in Paris being the best beat, but at the time, my favorite one was Otis. But again, that's what I wanted to hear from them.
I'll actually tell you, No Church in the Wild was my favorite beat on
No Church in the Wild was hard. Jay Short with Super Chat says, you think the Q-Tip remix for The World Is Yours is better than the original? No. And I'm a Q-Tip guy. Nope.
No. It's not even.
I like it though.
It's not even conversational. It's a nice little alternative.
Yeah. I mean, but they take on two different themes, but nah. I mean, the beat itself, the percussion might be harder. Anime Bros podcast with the super chat says Jay's bar work on Watch the Throne is greater than Ye had more energy. He said Ye just had more energy. Okay, so you feel like the bar work. See, this is what we get into when it comes to Jay. And I think a lot of us do this when it comes to people that we really, really love. We find ways to make something that is not as greater. So now, yeah, Ye didn't out-rap him. He just had more energy than him. Jay-Z's bar work was better. Huh? I had this conversation the other day about 444, man. My guy Ron was like, man, 444, man, it's just different, man. He was trying something different. He was coming from this, and that. I'm like, you can't sit here and listen to You Don't Know, Heart of the City, Imaginary Player, whatever in his catalog that's high level, and sit here and tell me 444 is acceptable. Let's just keep it. Let's keep that same energy that we keep when we call somebody a bad beat picker because you heard Nas is like. You know what I'm saying? Like what? What are we doing? Except for in this situation, the actual lyricist can control those things. as
Right.
opposed
Like,
to saying,
hey,
okay,
real
well,
talk.
I only have one beat from Primo on this, or 2 beats from Primo.
That's like us walking around being like, man, Jay a bad beat picker, ever since that whole PSA thing.
Deontay Smith with the super chat says, "Well, Watch the Throne. The moment was better than the music. It's like Mayweather's fight, all sizzle, no steak."
It's got some points there. Some very poignant points. Mm-hmm.
Anime Bros with another super chat. He says, "Kanye didn't out rap Jay. Let's compare the bars."
You don't want to do that. Maybach bumper sticker read, what would Hova do? Stop that.
Okay,
Stop that.
let's go with Otis. They're going back and forth on there.
I invented swag, popping bottles, putting supermodels in the cab.
Listen, man,
True.
Herman's flow.
I got my swagger back. Truth. New watch alert. Hue blows. Or the big face rolly. I got 2 of those. Arms out the window. I maneuver slow. No, stop that. Damn, Yeezy and Hove, where the hell you been? These niggas talking real reckless stunt men. I adopted these niggas.
Phil Drummond
them. Now I'm about to make them tuck their whole summer in. They say I'm crazy while I'm about to go dumb again. Stop that.
If we want to go bar work, Kanye's getting them there too.
Out rapping him.
He said, "Sophisticated ignorance. Write my curses in cursive."
I get it custom. You ain't been nowhere, huh? You ain't accustomed to going through customs. You ain't been nowhere, huh? And all the girls in the club got him showing off. Listen to what he done. He petty. I'm done. I'll hit you up mañana.
Yeah, man. Thanks for highlighting the bar work. Yeah, he got him there too.
Bar work, nigga. Where the fuck were you? Like, what the fuck? This is what I'm talking about. Where people be at? Like, y'all love Jay this much that y'all just gonna like gloss over it? Like that didn't happen?
Now, if Jay would have said those same bars, it would be nothing but that in the chat.
He'd be like, man, did you hear that goat talk on Otis from Jay?
Yeah.
You hear that goat talk, right?
Jack777 on the super chat says, Ye's discography is better, more consistent than Hov. Well, that's an argument for Monday, I guess, but,
Have fun.
But yeah, sophisticated ignorance. Write my curses in cursive. Game over.
He came in. Mike, he came in. These niggas talking real reckless. Stunt men. I adopted these niggas. Philip drumming them.
Here's
the
the
bars are better than every bar that Jay spit on the whole record. Like, what are we talking about?
Here's the next thing people are gonna say. Kanye didn't write it or something. That's why this whole ghostwriting narrative gets dangerous, Coop, because if somebody has a ghostwriter 1 or 2 times or however many times, we just act like a nigga can't write shit. And I think that's the problem. Like,
no, it's not that. It's
crazy.
That on its highest level, I can't flex you above somebody with similar techniques and skill levels.
No, that's fine. That's fine, but I think what needs to happen, though, we have to know who wrote what. Like, we know.
And we need to calm down a little bit. I get you.
Yeah, we know with Dr. Dre, somebody, Jay wrote Still D.R.E. And I think I hear now that RBX wrote Let Me Ride. Like, we know that.
I was seeing that, too. But, Mike, here's the thing. Kanye's the biggest problem in all that because Kanye's the one that's had the most writers, but can do shit like outperform Jay on his own album, like joint album with him with his own bar work. And it makes you think, much like with Snoop, it's like, well, you wrote Murder Was the Case in the Shiznit. It's like, why'd you need somebody to write Sexual Seduction? And it's like over here, it's like, didn't you write that Run This Town verse where you smashed on Jay on that too? It's like, what you need writers for, nigga? You out here you're literally smashing the guy that most people think is the greatest MC of all time, like on record with regularity. There's a whole album of evidence of you doing it. You don't need writers.
Maybe he doesn't need writers. He just, wants to be creative. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it was Chuck D somebody who said, man, if I could get Rakim to write a verse for me, yeah, I'd recite it. I think KRS said that.
I dig that, but that's the older, more humbler of him talking. 25-year-old KRS ain't trying to hear that shit, Mike. Go ask 25-year-old KRS if you want to rock him verse. He is going to look at you like you're crazy. Mike, he might assault you.
I think that, yeah, right. I think that
snatch you up.
Right, off the stage. I think that Kanye...
As PM Dawn.
Right. I think that Kanye, though, his rhymes are so personal and personable, and he raps kind of like he talks, similar to a DMX. It's hard to believe that somebody wrote some of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like
he's a great actor.
Yeah, no one's gonna be able to write Through the Wire for Kanye, or All Falls Down for Kanye, or even Hey Mama for Kanye. Ain't nobody writing that stuff for him.
No, but when you have stuff like that, that's so great. It's like it makes you really say, it's like, well, what you looking for writers for? You the writer, nigga.
Again. That's
why you're getting dark points for it, because we looking at you, it's like, well, you the writer. We know you can write. You chose to go get some writers. Slide that ass out the top 10.
What he said, do the beat and the rhymes, triple-double, no assists?
Slide them out, though.
I don't know. We got to find out what has been written. I think it's a little bit
matter. We know it was written by Nas. That's what we know.
This is the thing, Coop. His best stuff, he wrote. You think somebody wrote Can't Tell Me Nothing? I don't.
No, that might be his best bars too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like his best work. Nobody.
If the devil wear Prada, Adam Eve wear nada, I'm in between, but way more fresher with way less effort. Yeah, that's his best shit. That's his best bar.
Who could write these songs? He wrote these. And if let's just say Sahai, because I know people in the chat are probably going to say that. What hits did he write for? What hits did Sahai write for Kanye? That we could just say like, yo. Sahai wrote Kanye a Summertime or something.
I ain't saying that, Mike.
All the notable Kanye stuff he wrote.
All his shit. I'm saying Big and Pac and J. All that shit.
I understand that.
Ice Cube, Scarface.
I understand that.
I'm not letting you. Mike. There's multiple heavens. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how you perform and how you act, depending on where you go. No, you don't get to go to the top. No.
But we said this about Snoop a couple of weeks ago. And we said this about Snoop a couple of weeks ago. What made you change your stance on what made you change because you changed your stance on Snoop. What made you change your stance on Snoop?
Because he got writers, Mike. Can't be top 10 with the writers.
People were telling us that. Even when
Method Man said that. Method Man said it best. He's like, it really don't matter until you get to the top. We at the top, so it matters, Slide.
But we don't know who wrote what for Snoop. I think that was the argument before. It's like we know he wrote The Chronic. We know he wrote Doggy Style. We know he wrote Deep Cover.
I know Scarface wrote Mind Playing Tricks on Me, The Diary. That's why I'm saying no. Without other writers, ain't no ghost writers floating around Scarface. No,
I understand that, but do you think that?
Not at the top.
Do you think that as an MC, Scarface has written the records that Snoop has?
I think Mind Playing Tricks on Me is better than any record Snoop's ever written, so he's capable of it. So
that's one. I think that's one of the greatest hip hop records of all time. I think CL Smooth has one of the best written hip hop songs of all time too.
CL Smooth don't got no Scarface catalog.
I got you. You're right. Jay Short with a $20 super chat. Showing love. He says, to put this in perspective, if Nas and AZ did an album and AZ out-rapped Nas, people would be losing their minds. On Watch the Throne, we make excuses for Jay. By the way, Nas was out of his element on Distant Relatives and sounded fine. True.
They lose their mind every time AZ does out-rap Nas. They act like it's some sort of holy grail or something. Like you heard AZ stunting on Nas. It's like, oh, is that what he did? Okay.
Jay Short with the super chat says, if Jay-Z is the GOAT, it wouldn't matter if Kanye had a ghostwriter, correct? Huh. You're right. Unless his ghostwriter was Nas or something like.
Say what?
He said if Jay-Z is the GOAT, it shouldn't matter that Kanye had a ghostwriter. Even if he did have a ghostwriter on Watch the Throne, right?
But Jay's not the GOAT, though.
Well, Anime Bros with the super chat says, highlighting one aspect isn't a truthful debate. I mean, y'all want us to go song for song, obviously.
Song for song with what?
On Watch the Throne.
Did we just do that?
No, we just went, one song. I was talking about bar for bar, song for song. They want a long drawn out.
You want to keep on going.
Yeah, that's too much.
I don't know why we want to do that to Jay.
But I will say this. The songs
I don't want to do that to Jay. I like Jay.
The one song that I know that Jay out-rapped Kanye on that album, definitely Murder to Excellence. Everything else, I don't know.
I'd like to thank him for out-writing and out-rapping somebody he's supposed to be out-rapping. You don't get credit for doing the shit you're supposed to do. He's Jay.
But I'm saying, does Kanye get credit for out-rapping one of the greatest MCs of all time?
Yes, we stunned. Mike, the whole Run This Town verse, when he came, that's all niggas was talking about in the street. Be like, did you hear the way Ye stunted on the Jay record? Did you hear how he stunted on Jay?
Yeah.
That's all we said. What are we talking about here?
Uncle Fran with the super chat. I'm sure we're gonna get a Jay quote in here. He said, "In sheepskin coats, I silenced the lambs. Do you know who I am, Clarice?" Yeah, I knew we were gonna get Murder to Excellence. It's his best performance on the album. No cheap cologne whenever I sheesh. Success never smells so sweet. Come on, Coop.
I'd like to thank you for introducing his highlight of the whole album.
I called the Murder to Excellence before the super chat even popped up.
That's like scoring 12 points in the first quarter and you only end up with 15 for the game. Don't nobody care about them 12 points in the first quarter, fam. You scored 15 all game.
Oh man, Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, "Coop, the horns on New York." He said the horns on New York State of Mind are so infectious. When I hear that beat, I think, man, if I knew how to rap, you niggas would be getting this bar work. Yeah. I feel like that about the horns on Halftime, too. They're so nostalgic, you know what I mean? I love Large Professor's production. What's your favorite song on Illmatic? We didn't really give Illmatic.
While you were gone, I actually gave my top 3, which is The World Is Yours, Memory Lane, and One Love on a personal level.
A lot of people.
The World Is Yours is my theme music. Memory Lane is my favorite record. One Love is my most personal record because of my relationship with my cousin Vici, who's still locked up.
Memory Lane is definitely one of them records on Illmatic, and it's interesting because that was probably the farthest from a single on that album. But a lot of people go to that song and say that's the best song on Illmatic.
I won't argue. I would just tell you The World Is Yours. Inspirational for a young black man going through a lot.
The World Is Yours is a perfect song. I think it's probably the best produced song on the album. Not saying it's the quote-unquote best beat, but the way it sounds and cuts through, it does something. I think the hook is there. Obviously, the verses are there. I think it's the best, most complete song on Illmatic.
You want to know what it is? I'm just going to say this. You do understand the greatest rap album of all time is very dark and very dense and very depressing. And The World Is Yours is actually the bright light. Like, think about the things that are being described on New York State of Mind. Pick the Mac up, Toll Brothers back up, the Mac spit, lead was hitting niggas, one ran, I made them backflip, heard a few chicks scream. My arm shook, couldn't look. Gave another squeeze, heard it click. Yo, my shit is stuck. Tried to cock it. It wouldn't shoot. Now I'm in danger. Finally pulled it back and saw 3 bullets caught up in the chamber. So now I'm jetting to the building lobby. And it be full of children, probably couldn't see as high as I be.
So what you saying?
Like the game ain't the same. You get what I'm saying? Like there's nothing nice going on. The second song is literally called Life's a Bitch.
Yeah.
When he's talking on Halftime, you couldn't catch me in the streets without a ton of reefer. That's like Malcolm X catching the jungle fever.
King Poetic, yeah. Then
Think about it. One Love, he's writing to his incarcerated friend. On Represent, he's talking about how he loves committing sins and his friends sell crack. This nigga raps with the razor, keep it under my tongue. The school dropout. Never liked the shit from day one because life ain't shit.
Yeah.
The World Is Yours is the bright spot on Illmatic. Everything else is dark and depressing and dense. That's what we never really talk about. The themes are timeless, but they're also dark and dense.
Memory Lane is there too.
Memory Lane.
Yeah.
I rap Divine God. Check that prognosis. Is it real as showbiz? My window faces shootouts, drug overdoses, live amongst no roses, only the drama. For real, a nickel plate is my fate. My medicine is the ganja. It's all dark.
You're right. What about
But like, even on The World Is Yours, I need a new nigga for this black cloud to follow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's too dark to see tomorrow.
People got to pay attention.
Yeah, and then you got, but would you say the same thing about It Ain't Hard to Tell? Or is that just on some rap shit?
That's the rap record. That's
Yeah.
why it's the first single. Because think about it, you can't feed it. Like people think Life's a Bitch is gonna work as a single, like with the video. No, it's not. That shit is depressing.
Yeah. Leroy Green with the super chat says, "Coop, as a musician, no church. Otis, Who Gonna Stop Me? Welcome to the Jungle, Murder to Excellence, Illest Alive, Ham, Prime Time, and Why Why I Love You, Crazy." You gonna make me go listen to Watch the Throne tonight?
You had to resort to the live takes. Is that where we at? Guess what? He getting out rap live too, Leroy. How about that? And get rap live. You get out rap in the studio and out rap live. But it's not like that. I'm sorry, the beats ain't like that. The rhymes ain't like that. You getting out rhymed by Kanye. Kanye getting out beat made by Hit Boy on one beat. No. Frank Ocean ass sliding in and giving y'all the best hook. No.
Jay Short with the super chat says, "It wasn't just that Kanye out-rapped Jay. He made him sound outdated. Honestly, listening to Watch the Throne was like watching the 1991 finals. For the kids out there, that's when Michael Jordan made it to the finals the first time and faced Magic Johnson, who
don't do Magic like that. Magic played fine.
he played well, but you know that's
Mike he dropped the triple double on Mike's ass in game one when Mike was guarding him. When Mike was guarding him, his ass dropped the triple double
and they won.
Scotty.
But it was a changing of the guards. Do you not feel like Watch the Throne was kind of a changing of the guards? And honestly,
he already had it, Mike. That's why.
No, it was official at this point. Yeah, you're right. He already had it. It was official.
Didn't walk into that album with that type of performance. It's like, you know what's going on around you, right? And you walked in and did that.
Yeah.
No, I ain't handing out hall passes for doing dumb shit. No.
It's like, yo, man, I just came off of college dropout, late registration, graduation, changed the game with 808s and heartbreaks, and then came back with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And you want to come make an album with me? Okay, let's go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
keep Michael Jordan. What's that Michael Jordan thing in the elevator when Scottie Pippen was like, "Hey, everybody, bring your A game," and Mike was like, "Bring A game." Jay bought A game instead of his A game, and that's exactly what happened to him. He thought that just bringing his game was about the work. He didn't really respect or really understand what Kanye became, I think. And I think he found out after that album. Yeah,
I think, you know what, and you're right. I think what the biggest problem with that, and I think it's very evident here, I don't think Jay really ever dug Kanye like that. And I don't think he ever really listened to what Kanye was really doing. He dialed in his verses a lot of the times. He really didn't show up until My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, because his verses from College Dropout are recycled, right? He came in on the Diamonds remix really just to get it dang. So it wasn't like he was there to make a song with dude. I don't think he ever really felt Ye like that, and I think he wasn't really listening to what was going on, and he thought he was just gonna walk in there and attach to, you know, the fact that this guy was the hottest in the game. I don't think he even thought that he would get out-rapped by Kanye. I don't even think that was the thought process.
Yeah, you want to talk about murder to excellence? That's what happened. He got murdered to excellence.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Leroy Green with the super chat says, "Mike, Ye out-rapped Jay with Who Gonna Stop Me, Welcome to the Jungle, and Why I Love You on the same album." He said, Ye can't out-rap Jay with Who Gonna Stop Me, Welcome to the Jungle, and Why I Love You on the same album. I will go back and listen to those, and we'll see. You know what? It's been a minute, because I don't really listen to Watch the Throne all the time.
No, Mike, let's ask a legitimate question. Why are we even, listen to what I'm about to say, why are we even having an argument about Jay-Z's rap skills versus Kanye's? That already lets you know that Jay failed at that mission. Because if it's conversational, it's not supposed to be if you're in the conversation for greatest MC of all time. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I think that Kanye out-rapped...
no hall passes in this bitch.
I think Kanye out-rapped Nas on Still Dreaming. I mean, it happens. Again, he's not somebody who's incapable of having the best verse on
You
a
might have
song with some
out-rapped him on Cop
heavyweights.
Spot the Kid, too.
Possibly. We
That
don't
ain't no
talk about this
album.
enough, but he's actually on that classic record with Nas, Premier, KRS, and Rakim.
He's not out-rapping them then.
No, he's not. But he's on that record and he don't sound out of place.
Well, guess what, Mike? All those guys are in the top 10, and he's right outside it. And if his
Yeah.
ass didn't have some writers, he might be in. Let's
Yeah.
get to the rates.
Let's go to it. Because I think we got some
you
time
want
to
to
do
Nas
that.
and Snoop?
You want
Or
to do
you wanna
Nas
go
and
up?
Snoop? Let's do Nas and Snoop. That'll be fun.
Snoop is at 10. Yeah, Impact.
I might go Snoop. Not by a lot, but I might go Snoop.
I'll give you that. Live performance.
Damn, that's Snoop.
Yep. Lyrics.
That's Nas.
Storytelling.
Nas.
Classic albums.
Nas.
Classic songs.
Nas.
Longevity of albums.
Nas.
Longevity of songs.
That could be Snoop.
That could be tied.
Yeah. Nas catalog's crazy.
Classic collaborations.
That's Nas.
He's done with Snoop.
Okay.
Snoop's at 10 right now. Scarface is at 9. LL's at 8. Biggie's at 7. Jay is at 6.
You
Where are we going?
wanna skip the LL?
We can go to L. Impact.
LL.
I'll tell you that's Nas over LL.
I don't think there's not many people with bigger impact than LL. LL's the first hip hop star. He's like the prototype of what a solo rap artist is.
Where's
Yeah.
kids at?
The whole solo game.
Well, I mean, his kids are like Nelly and Ja Rule, though. Like, where's kids at? Nas got more kids.
I don't think so. I think Tupac's one of his kids too. Like, there's a lot of people who take pieces from LL.
Oh, fair. No. I like the Tupac comment. Yeah. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Live performance.
That's LL.
Lyrics.
Nas.
Storytelling.
Nas.
Classic albums.
Nas.
Classic songs.
Huh.
Fascinating, isn't it? Because then you got to start asking yourself, how many classic songs does LL really have?
I think he has a lot. I think where Nas gets him is he got classic album songs, where LL's classic songs are the hit
Most
records.
hits. Yeah. Like if we were going hit records, this is LL.
Exactly.
But overall, it's Nas.
Exactly.
Because LL's album songs, unfortunately, don't ring as hard as like his best singles.
Right.
Nas got
But see,
stuff
he
like I
comes
Gave
from
You Power and Rewind.
And again, I'm not making excuses. I want to, kind of frame the conversation. But I think that LL comes from an era where album making was based on just making a bunch of bangers and not really, making a beginning, middle, and end type of album. You know what I'm saying?
More Tupac influence there.
Mm-hmm.
Longevity of albums. Because technically that's L, but then you got to ask yourself, are his projects holding up and getting lauded? Like, I don't know the way we're talking about.
Yeah,
and
I know.
That's where I was. To Illmatic.
That's where I was gonna go with it. I don't know if LL has an album that stands up like Illmatic. Now he has songs that stand up in that way, so I would give that one to Nas.
I was actually about to say longevity of songs would be LL.
Yes.
Classic collaborations would be Nas.
Yes.
Done with LL.
Okay. Biggie Smalls?
Yeah, Biggie. Impact.
That's Biggie, I guess. I don't know. That might
I would
be.
tell you.
Huh?
I think that's Nas because I think a lot of Big's impact is taken from Tupac.
I'm with that. That's Nas. I'm fine with that.
And Nas got more kids, as strange as that may seem.
Okay, Nas.
Live performance.
I'm gonna defer to you on that one. You just saw Nas live.
I can't give that to Big fairly because I don't think Big had the chance to even evolve into the performer that, you know.
Right.
It's just one of those things. Lyrics.
Nas.
Storytelling.
Nas.
Classic albums.
Nas.
Classic songs. That's probably Big still, maybe.
That's crazy. I don't know.
Because Big does have the album cuts.
He does.
He's got You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You and What's Beef. And no, he's got shit to fight with Nas on the classic song stuff. I don't know if it's enough though. Here's
that's the problem. Big. Yeah.
Does he have enough of it? But
exactly.
What he has to fight with, oh no, he's fighting like a motherfucker.
I was gonna say per capita, yes. On average, yes. But on a totality, I don't know if he has enough.
On a totality, I would have to
because this is what we're doing right here. We're debating the person with the most longevity in the game and the person, as far as the grades, with the least longevity in the game.
And we're seeing where the longevity is matter because he just watched Big, actually.
Yeah.
But that's about the longevity of it.
It is.
You want to go to Jay?
Yeah.
Impact.
Jay, I got to be fair.
I will too. That's Jay.
Yeah.
We got too many kids walking around. Like, too many kids who don't know how to rap like him. The fuck?
Everybody want to be Hov. Hov's still alive.
Hov's still alive. Live performance.
Jay.
I tell you, Nas is probably better now, but in their peak, I'll tell you Jay's better. Lyrics.
Nas.
Storytelling.
Nas.
Classic albums. I would tell you it's Nas because if you felt like it was a tie, here's what I'll tell you. Let's say you felt like it was a tie even after KD1 and KD2. It's not a tie after Magic and KD3. It's just not.
We talked about this on the show before, though. I think that the hands down classics is 4, right? With Jay.
I think hands down with Jay is 3. That's where we defer because you think American Gangster is a hands down. I don't.
No. I'm giving Volume 2 that 4.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And
okay,
I'm not even and I think Volume 2, I mean, it is what it is. It has its place in history.
Yeah.
It's hard to knock.
Yeah.
And I think Nas, hands down, what you got, Illmatic, It Was Written, Stillmatic, and
Lost Tapes.
Life
Tapes. Good. Magic.
I don't know if Life is Good and all of those are hands down, but this is the thing. I think
here's what I'm saying.
The ones that are in the conversation are more. And so, yes, he gets that one.
How about this? His conversational classics are literally almost double of Jay's conversational classics now because it's like when we talking about Jay's next classics, it's like when you're talking about 3 or 4 albums, we talking about 5, 6, 7 albums over here.
Because after you get past Volume 2, you're thinking, Volume 1 or American Gangster, depending on where your mind goes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Nas literally has about 4 or 5 American Gangster Volume 1 conversation pieces.
Yeah, like how about this? Like Life is Good doesn't have the highlights of Volume 1, but it's a better album in the end than Volume 1. Magic is better than Volume 1. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
MHJ Inspiration says Memory Lane is the best song.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that too.
Classic songs.
Cool.
What about
I'm going Jay.
You want to know what? That's cool. Longevity of albums.
I think that's Nas.
Longevity of songs.
A few years ago, I would have said Jay, but I'm going to go Nas on this one.
Classic collaborations. I'm cool if that's a tie because we don't have time to argue.
Yeah, I think...
I think their collaborations is probably their closest, actual competition.
We need to pull up and do a real debate on that. But yeah, I think that's a tie.
Ooh, I got a better idea. We need to do, because here's the thing about it. Oh, we know for a fact that their fucking collaborations and guest appearances are floating everywhere on streaming services.
Yeah, we can do a station head on that.
I do want to do the Jay-Z and Nas station hit of just the guest appearance, the collaborations, like the stuff that's not on their albums. Yeah.
I got Jay. I'll take Jay, in this matchup because I'm leaning more towards that in this category.
I'm leaning more towards Nas, but I think we should pick 25. How many records do you want to pick? Are we going to do 20?
We should do 20, keep it consistent.
I'm down with the 25 because their collab game is so sick. Because think about it.
Oh, one caveat. We can't use when they collab with each other. I mean, that's fine, but I'm just saying. They work
together, don't be slapping like that. Wasn't using none of those
No,
records.
I just wanted to put it out there.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it probably wouldn't make it.
Mike, I wasn't thinking about those records. Them records ain't like that.
The only one that would make it is Black Republican, but, I
Right,
still want people out there like, who's going to play Black Republican?
None of us, because that's not a top 20 collaboration from either one of them. Longevity of songs. Oh, classic collaborations tie. Hold on, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Career longevity quality.
That's Nas now.
And he would have won he would have beat him with the voice at the end anyway, but probably. Yeah, that's Nas. So Ice Cube, KRS-One, and Tupac.
Let's go KRS. Well, you know what? I don't want to skip Cube. That's my guy, man. I love Cube.
I think actually, Mike, after we put Nas up, I think we need to put Jay against Cube because I think we may have it backwards.
Okay.
Impact.
2. I think that's Cube.
I think that used to be Cube.
Okay. You know what? You're right. You're right.
I want to tie that because I thought about that.
I think that Cube's impact has spanned outside of music so much that it's not in music as much as Nas's would be. Like, when you hear Nas, you know what people think of. You think about lyricists. Like, when somebody says Cube, you think of a lot of things.
But this is about the MCing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that might go to Nas for that
Live
reason. Even though Cube is the author of gangster rap. Live performance. I don't know, bro. I think that might be Cube, man. I'm thinking about him walking out there. He's touring to this day.
I was about to say, I just saw Cube crip walking on stage. Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Lyrics.
Nas.
Right. Storytelling.
Nas.
Classic albums.
Nas.
It's hard to beat. Classic songs.
Nas. Yeah,
longevity of albums.
Nas.
Now,
yeah, he's hard to beat. Here's
what I'll tell you.
When you start getting into that part, he's hard to beat.
The longevity of albums, though, but here's the thing about it. Ice Cube made 2 whole classics before Nas ever made a debut album, and he's part of a third classic in Straight Outta Compton.
He's the writer of Straight Outta Compton.
So actually, I would tell you that Straight Outta Compton is still viable, and so is America's Most and Death Certificate.
Okay.
So about longevity of albums, I would tell you Ice Cube is one of the few people that was walking around with multiple classics before Illmatic ever popped up. And about that, I will tell you that most of his classics actually still stand pretty well, even though they're not Illmatic. Straight Outta Compton is something special. America's Most Death Certificate, oh no, that shit holding.
Okay.
And this is all before Illmatic. That's 3 classic albums before Illmatic that he got heavy stake in. So
I'm with that. Cube is one of my personal favorites.
I mean, I just want to be fair about it. You know, and that motherfucker wrote Straight Outta Compton, Mike.
Yeah.
Longevity of songs. I would tell you Ice Cube again, maybe.
I think so too. I think that's Cube.
Boys in the Hood is still getting played. I still play Boys in the Hood, Mike.
Good day, man.
Classic collaborations is Nas. That's enough. That's it.
Voice, I would go Cube, though, if it got to that.
I hear you wasn't going to make it there, though.
Yeah, I figured.
So think about this. We got Cube at number 5, and Nas is like, that's what I'm saying. You want to just go ahead and do this Tupac and Rock? Because KRS is not going to beat Nas.
I want to see, no. I'm interested in the KRS one.
You are? Okay. No. Impact.
Yeah. Impact, KRS?
That's Nas. I'm sorry.
Think so?
Yeah, because his impact is span longer. Because you have to understand that Nas and Tupac and Biggie have something to do with KRS-One's impact waning.
Okay.
Like, KRS wasn't the same in 98. You want to know what that was? Because Nas and Big and Jay was running around.
What do y'all think in the chat? You think that who has the bigger impact, Nas or KRS? We'll get to the next category, but I want to see what the people say.
Yeah, we'll go to the people on that. That's cool. Live performances, KRS-One.
Yeah.
Lyrics,
Nas.
it's not by a lot.
Not by a lot. Storytelling's Nas.
By a fair amount, but not by a lot. Mike, classic albums.
Who?
What I would tell you is that he's one of the few people that can have this argument with Nas.
Yeah. Because Boogie
Criminal
Down
Minded.
Productions got 3 off top.
You got Criminal Minded. Well, let's just go through the categories. You got Criminal Minded. By All Means Necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Sex and Violence. The Blueprint Edutainment. All 4 of those albums are great. Now,
I love Sex and Violence.
Now, depending on the classic nature of them, we can debate that. You know what I'm saying? But that's 4 masterful albums in my opinion. Then he's got Return of the Boom Bap, and he's got the KRS-One album, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 6. So
Nas got a good 10. Yeah.
So Nas has. So the question is Nas' 6 best albums on the level of those 6 albums? Because it's like, I know Illmatic and It Was Written is probably better than all that other stuff that's on KRS's list. But what about those next 4? Because KRS's shit is tough.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Is it still Nas?
I think it is. I mean, not by a whole lot. He's standing alone when it comes to this catalog thing at this point.
He really is. Classic songs.
That's Nas.
Longevity of albums.
That's KRS.
KRS.
What do you think about the fact that KRS's impact really extends to, you look at the West Coast and how they put rhymes together, how NWA came together and those things?
No, it's influential. Like, did we hear back from our people about the impact?
Yeah. A lot of people are picking KRS. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff going on in the chat, but yeah.
Cool with that. Longevity of songs.
That's KRS. The bridge is over.
Classic collaborations.
That's Nas.
Career longevity quality.
That's actually KRS.
Is it though?
Is it? No, I think this recent run is Nas. It is.
Right. This is
Voice
what this
is
run has
KRS
done.
though.
You know what this run has really done? It's distanced himself from the people that came before him, like KRS and Rakim and G-Rap and all those guys. And even though those guys been working, they didn't work like this late at this level, at this quality.
That's fair, because if it had stopped at Life is Good or even KD1, I would probably still say KRS.
And this nigga might be in the yo right now while we talking, working on KD4. You know what I'm saying?
It is. Let's hope so. Okay.
Hold on. 1, 2.
Now he got that.
Yeah, he does. Yep.
Who's next?
It was about to come, Mike, because we were about to actually make it The Voice with Nas, and it was about to be Nas versus KRS, and I was about to tell you, it's like, that's actually KRS.
That's KRS, yeah.
Right. So Mike, he's essentially, he's at Tupac and Rakim. We got Tupac at 3.
KRS is a tough competitor.
KRS is tough. KRS-One, rock on.
Jay Short with the super chat says Devil's Advocate on Impact. Could Nas get the best 3 East Coast MCs of his era to tour and make an album right now? Cube did that.
Didn't we give Cube Impact anyway?
I think so.
Yeah, we gave Cube Impact. Well, it's Tupac versus Nas on Impact, so Mike.
All right, Tupac versus Nas. Here we go. The showdown that you guys been waiting for. That's Pac.
Well, these are the showdowns, because for me, this is my top 3. My top 3 is Pac, Nas, and Rakim.
Okay.
Impact is Tupac.
Yes.
And so is live performance.
Yep.
Lyrics and storytelling are Nas.
Yep.
Classic albums is Nas.
Mm-hmm.
Classic songs, Mike.
That's Tupac.
I think it still might be. Here's what I would tell you.
It's Tupac.
No. Listen to what I'm about to say. How many classic album cuts has Nas made on his last 5 albums? Because if you were to put it ahead, it would have to be based on that, not what's before. And so I tell you, how classic are the, you know what I mean? Like, how many store runs has he made is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's Tupac, man.
Okay.
Tupac.
No, I feel longevity of albums.
That's
I actually think that's Nas, and here's why. Because his seminal project is Illmatic, and Pac's seminal project is All Eyes on Me, as in after Illmatic.
I think his seminal project is Me Against the World, but
Still
same
after.
concept, still after, yeah.
And not as good, just to be honest.
No, it's not. But again, in Pac's defense, he wasn't trying to make albums.
Right. Hold on, but that's exactly why he's about to win this whole longevity of songs thing.
Right. Exactly.
Because longevity of songs is Pac over
That's
Nas.
Pac. Yep.
Classic collaborations is Nas.
It is. It is. You know, I realized when you and I were doing our verses with Biggie and Pac, how little of collaborative stuff that Pac has like that. You know, all the volume of work that he did was him by himself pretty much. And that's so impressive too. Yeah.
Career longevity, quality. Well, I mean, we know that's Nas.
Yeah.
That's enough. We don't get to the voice with this either, because Pac would have beat Nas on voice too. But he got.
So what was the score with that?
6-5, 6-4.
6-4.
Tupac won Impact, live performance, classic songs, longevity of songs. Nas won lyrics, storytelling, classic albums, longevity of albums, classic collaborations, the longevity of the career.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And then we have Rakim.
Okay, let's do it.
Impact.
Rakim.
This is the first time Nas is going to win this over somebody up in this echelon. Nas is actually the better live performer of the two.
Yeah, he is.
This is about to be the fun part of our segment, Mike. Lyrics.
I got Rakim.
I don't know. I think it's a tie, because here's what I'll tell you.
I'm not mad at the tie, but Rakim's the best lyricist I've ever heard.
No. He's the best peak lyricist you ever heard. As in from 86 to 91. As in a 5-year interval, he's the best lyricist you ever heard. In the end, it's Nas, and that's why it's a tie.
I'm fine with the end-to-end argument, but I was looking at an interview that Jay-Z did. I forgot where it was from, but he was talking about Rakim. Actually, it was on Rakim's page. Y'all can check that out. Make sure you follow Rakim on Instagram. You should. And Jay was saying that I don't think there's ever been, he's like, there hasn't been
not as far as ahead.
There has never been a leap from one MC to the next as big as Rakim. It's like, he's like, me and Nas had each other. Like, you know, Big and Pac had each other. This guy went from, I mean, really, it was Run. He used Run. I'm quoting Jay. He was quoting some bars from Run DMC. And then the jump is Rakim. It's like, that jump gives me the lyrical edge for that guy, kind of on some Wilt Chamberlain shit, but that's where I give him the edge on that.
But that's what I'm saying is like, that's some Wilt Chamberlain shit. You understand Nas is Kareem.
I understand that.
Oh, he's better than Wilt in the end, the same way Kareem better than Wilt in the end. Maybe not as an athlete in their peak for a 5-year stretch. No. Is Wilt 5-year stretch look better? Nas don't have no lyrics of Fury. Rakim don't have no I Gave You Power.
I agree. I think that Nas is the better overall MC. He did more with that. But if we just talking about lyrics and just putting it to paper from where you came from, like, I mean, where were these bars even coming from? You could at least hear with Nas, like, this comes from Rakim's lineage, you know?
But here's also, too, what you have to remember, too, is that, well, nobody had felt like anybody had caught up to Rakim until this guy named Nas showed up.
Of course.
Right. He was ahead of everybody until Nas showed up. As in, ahead of everybody until that point. And that guy, and this is what I mean about what's different is that whereas Rakim did lyrics of Fury and like Let the Rhythm Hit Him and No Omega, like no, Nas did I Gave You Power and Rewind and Take It in Blood instead. Like he took it somewhere else, but it was just as lyrically viable. And this is what I mean about lyrically viable, because I know a lot of people are going to bring up Lupe. Digestible, Mike.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Digestible at a high level. And lyrically, what he did with the storytelling is actually where I give Nas the edge over Rakim. It's actually not bar for bar. It's that lyrically put Nas in storytelling format, and yes, he is lyrically better than Rakim.
Well, see, storytelling's a whole different category. You know what I'm saying? So, and I get what you're saying. Obviously, Nas has the storytelling part. I think for me, the type of lyricist that Rakim is, I draw to slightly more than the type of lyricist that Nas.
You want to know what, Mike? What are the people in the chat saying? Are they saying it's Rakim lyrically?
Let's see. Hold on. KC1 with the super chat says,
We are for the people.
if y'all, it said, I know y'all gonna have Tupac as number one, but no way in hell he's close to Cube, Rakim, and Nas. Sorry, the Hennessy and Enemies lyrics don't cut it. Where did this narrative come from?
Ban that guy.
Yeah.
We need to flag him.
Okay, people are saying top.
That's like submitting pornographic material to According to Hip Hop. What are you doing about the silence?
Soulmatic says Rakim proved he still got it on ELE too. He did that.
Nas did, how about this? This is what I'm talking about the longevity of it. When did Rakim pull up with a Magic that late?
Nobody's done any of that. But again, we're talking about those are different categories. We're talking about straight up lyricists.
That's what I'm saying. Lyrically, Nas just did something in like year number 25 of his career.
Didn't we just applaud Rakim for doing that a year? What was that? 2020. So that was
a verse versus an album, Mike.
I agree, but that's still like 34 years into your career.
Mike, we can't do the Andre thing and then you pull up the ELE verse when Nas got Magic.
That's fair.
It's a tie.
It's a tie. I'm cool with the tie.
I'm cool with
this
the
man
tie.
was just so ahead. See, it's like it's somebody who's ahead of the world, and then you got somebody who just took the baton and just ran further than anybody else with it. So yeah, I'm cool with the tie.
I was about to say, how about this? Nobody was as great as Rakim early lyrically, but nobody's been as great as Nas this late on record.
Fair.
Tie. Storytelling is Nas.
Yep.
Classic albums, Nas.
Yes.
Classic songs.
I might go right.
Fascinating.
But I see again, I think the longevity creeps in. If we were talking about 4 albums in, it's shit. If we talking 6 albums in, it's Rakim.
I think it's Nas. He's still making classic songs.
Yeah, it's Nas, man.
Longevity of albums is Rakim because he made Paid in Full.
Yeah.
And it still stands, and so does Follow the Leader and Let the Rhythm Hit Him.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, longevity of songs falls in the same way because we still play Eric B. as President, and we still play Paid in Full.
Paid in Full. I Ain't No Joke, all that stuff.
Microphone Fiend, Know the Ledge. Yep. Classic collaborations is Nas.
Yep.
Career longevity quality is Nas. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's hard to get him to the voice. That's the problem. These guys have better voices than him because Rakim, you notice all these guys, they can't get to the voice with him because of how his career is gone.
Yeah.
And his voice is great. It's just like I would pick Rakim's voice over Nas's too.
Me too. Yeah.
But Mike, he's back up at number 1.
Back at number 1. Chris Daughtery with the super chat says, Coop, Leroy don't understand y'all judge music, not numbers. Yeah.
All right. Here's what I'll tell you, Mike. Before we go, we need to put Jay up against Ice Cube right quick and maybe KRS.
All right, let's do it.
Impact. It's Ice Cube and Jay.
Jay.
Okay.
Not by a lot either, guys. Not by a lot.
I was going to ask you some questions about it because you were way clearer on that than you were with the Nas and Ice Cube thing. The live performance, you think Jay's impact is higher than anybody except for Tupac's, I think.
I think Jay's impact is very high. I think the only other person I would give impact over is Kanye. I think Kanye's impact has superseded Jay's, but
I got Pac and Ye ahead of Jay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Live performance.
That's Jay.
Lyrics.
Jay.
Storytelling's Ice Cube.
Yep.
Classic albums. Ooh, fascinating. I think that's still Jay.
That's still Jay.
That's still Jay.
Yeah.
Classic songs might be Cube though. I think A Good Day is a better single than whatever Jay's best single is. It's not A Good Day.
Could Cube beat Jay in the verses though, even including NWA stuff? I don't think so.
I think it's more viable than you think it is.
I don't.
Because here's the thing.
I'm gonna
like,
go
that's
Jay
why
on that.
like Boys in the Hood came out in 86, 87.
Yeah.
He made like how about this?
But that's
He's one
more
of the few
so a
guys-
longevity of songs. Now I'll give
this?
Cube that, but
He's one of the few guys walking around with a better diss record than Jay too. Like No Vaseline is better than The Takeover. Not a lot of people can say that.
I'm gonna give songs to Jay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Classic songs, Jay. Longevity of albums, is that cute?
I think longevity of albums, yes, that's cute.
Longevity of songs too. Back to the Boys in the Hood thing.
Mm-hmm.
Classic collaborations, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Yeah, Jay's up above Cube. You want to do KRS?
Yep.
Impact.
It's Jay.
Live performance, KRS.
Yep.
Mike, lyrically about the same stuff you said about Rakim, I'll tell you the same things, similar things about KRS, except for Jay ain't no Nas on the mic.
I'm with that. I'm with that because the thing is, as incredible of a lyricist Jay is and has become over the years, KRS hit the ground running.
Mm-hmm. And he's still running, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And we should still be afraid of him on the mic.
Yeah. I'll go, and it's not by a lot. I'm going to go KRS on that one.
Storytelling, that's KRS too.
Mm-hmm. Are you...
Yeah, Mike.
Okay. I want to put a poll out there for that.
Because he's got a creative story like I'm a Blunt Getting Smoked where he literally...
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's got Love's Gonna Get You and stuff like that. No, he's got classic stories.
Okay.
Even Jack of Spades is kind of a story if you're listening.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. He's got it. Classic albums.
That's Jay.
Are you sure? Because where are the 6 albums?
I'm not sure. I'm really not.
I think it might be tied.
Yeah, I'm not sure with that. This one's a difficult one. This might have been the verses that we needed. That people didn't know that we needed. People sleeping on KRS's catalog.
Hold on 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Sister in Miami is texting me. She needs something. Little sister shit.
It be happening. I need to check in on my little sister.
They're out of premium, you know. We premium whip drivers around here, you know. Hold on 1 second. We're going to get to this.
They said classic songs, Jay.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know if... I guess Jay would beat KRS in the verses. I don't know.
I don't know about that, Mike.
It's not a foregone conclusion. It's not a foregone conclusion. I would put my money on Jay. But if I lost, I wouldn't be surprised. Say KRS already got an album called Blueprint. Y'all wild.
It's true. Blueprint Entertainment. So where are we at? Classic albums? Is that Jay? Are we going Jay? What are the people saying? I feel like it's kind of tie-ish, Mike.
I think that's kind of tie-ish too.
Rocket
Shot with the super chat says, please publish this list with criteria and all. Yeah, we will.
Yeah, that's fine. Classic songs is Jay.
Yep.
Longevity of albums. What I would tell you is that what does KRS have that he made before Jay made Reasonable Doubt that's holding up like Reasonable Doubt? Because I tell you, KRS has them on time and maybe even on material, but about the way Reasonable Doubt and Jay stuff holding, I think this might be a tie too. The same way the classic albums are a tie, the longevity of them might be a tie too about Jay's impact and influence because of Reasonable Doubt. Because all of KRS-One's classic shit is actually technically before 96.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So it's KRS, but he doesn't have a Reasonable Doubt in terms of like how the culture feels about it. So I'll tell you, it's a
Criminal
tie.
Mind is the closest. And again, I think you and we come from the 90s era, so it's hard to really speak on the 80s like that. We just kind of know what, was passed down, but Criminal Mind is one of those. If you ask somebody the top 5 albums of the 80s, Criminal Mind might be in that.
So is that KRS then?
Based on I'm cool with the tie being there because Reasonable Doubt is held very, very high in the culture.
Right. Because here's what I tell you, the longevity of the songs that come from those albums is where KRS wins, which is the next one, because he's got South Bronx,
poetry.
Yeah.
9mm goes bang. The bridge is over. My philosophy. No, the records have held even better than the albums have. Which could be more to the era and the style of making music, as you were saying.
Right.
Classic collaborations, that's Jay. Career longevity, quality.
KRS is still
KRS has been on a Nas run. And KRS just dropped an album the other year, Mike. I'm an MC. Are you one too?
Jay's gone for, what was that, 2017? So from 96 to 17, that's 21 years.
KRS still just made an album. KRS made an album in 87.
Yeah.
He just made an album in 2020.
Yeah.
That's KRS.
Yeah. Jay Short with the super chat says, boys in the hood, straight out of Compton, F the police. Today was a good day. Check yourself. Bow down. You know how we do it. Hello, dead homies. Hand of the dead body. Once upon a time, y'all sleeping on Cube. I feel like I used all those in our Cube verses.
I'm not sleeping on Cube. Mike, voice, Jay-Z or KRS-One?
That's KRS.
KRS beat Jay.
Well,
that would put Jay at 5. So right now, Nas is at 1, Rakim is at 2, Tupac is at 3, KRS-One is at 4, Jay-Z is at 5. But also, too, to be fair, we haven't slid KRS, Tupac, or Rakim out. We have slid Nas and Jay out.
Yeah.
Like, we slid Jay out, and Jay's still at 5. We've slid Nas out. Nas is at 1. The people that are in between them, we have not slid out. So we will be probably sliding them out next.
Okay.
But, Mike, I would like to add somebody like new in soon and give them some run. Like, we still have some people on the board. Like, Styles is the next person up. I want to get Styles in.
Okay. I like that 5, though. And we're definitely going to slide people out just to make sure that that's, legit. But Nas, Rakim.
I told you Jay was going to make it back up to the 5 when he was down at like 8. I was like, nah, he probably going to slide back up.
Yeah, Nas, Rakim, Pac, KRS, and Jay. That's a great 5.
Because we got to slide Rakim out up under Pac to see how that goes.
Yeah. And
how he goes up against Jay and KRS. Because think about it, KRS got Rakim maybe on voice, live performance,
Yeah. All right. Well, good stuff, man. And great show. I'm looking forward to Friday because not only do we get a new Nas song Friday, but we get a new track with Wayne and Jay-Z on it. So we get a Jay-Z and Nas show on Friday.
Now, people like this Swish joint, part of hip-hop is 50. And if people do not know what the whole hip-hop is 50 is with Mass Appeal, you should go look it up because they've actually, Mike, been doing stuff literally for years in anticipation and build up for hip-hop's 50th anniversary. So shout out to Mass Appeal. This Swiss project is part of it. I've been hearing about it from the plug since before KD3. Mike, I'm like, where the fuck is Swiss with this album? I've been hearing about this shit since it was hotter than July last July, it seemed like, but it's coming. And shout out to everybody that's involved with it. I've been hearing some great things. We'll see how it goes. You and I definitely going to pull up Friday and talk about it. Mike, while you were gone, I talked about Fred and the FDL and the event space.
Oh, man, it's on.
Yeah, it's so on and popping. People don't understand. They haven't seen it yet. And I'm going to tell you what the word is right now, Mike. A lot of people are scared because it's metropolitan. And I'm like, nah, we coming to change all of that.
Yeah.
And be honest with you. And here's what I need people to understand. It's not the old metropolitan. It's been dilapidated now. We're here to build the community back up because it's been dilapidated.
Yep.
It's not dangerous anymore. It's dilapidated, as in nobody's there now.
Yep. We're
trying to make it a viable place for commerce and business and community initiative, not just for blacks, but just for everybody who lives in the community. Like you and I have a friend, Jamie. Jamie's white. She's from East Point. Her birthday is Juneteenth. She's helping do the decorum for the event. Like, it's about the community.
Yeah, and it's the perfect place to do it. The community's rebuilding.
Shout out to Fred, shout out to Shakita, FDL, Compound Fitness and Training. Mike, free fitness classes for our community every Wednesday at 7 o'clock in this complex. How can you say no to getting healthy and in shape for free?
It's awesome.
He's even making it at a time when traffic is over. And here's the thing about it, Mike, because Metropolitan is dilapidated now. Oh, no. Your ass can make it to Metropolitan by 7 o'clock and get this free class.
Yeah.
Building is full of security
and full of cameras, you are totally safe in Fred and Shakita's hands.
Jay Short with the super chat. Before we get out of here, he says, y'all saying that Jay has more impact than Cube. Wasn't Cube the writer for NWA, most influential rap group ever? And we unconsciously give Jay credit for non-music stuff, but not Cube.
Actually, Mike spoke to him thinking of Cube outside of the rap terms when we were putting Cube up against Nas. I think, first of all, I'm more impressed with what Cube has done business-wise because Cube has gone into more quote-unquote white spheres and made them understand this black man's vision than Jay has, in my opinion, which is more of the assimilation process. Different ways to skin a cat, not criticizing either way. But what I would submit to you is that they're actually moguls of equal stature.
Mm-hmm.
The media coverage makes you think Jay's a greater mogul.
I mean,
Cube got a whole basketball league he created.
Whole basketball league. The film company. And he's been doing this for over 30 years. You know what I'm saying? And even when he left NWA and went to Priority, I mean, look at where Rockefeller went to first. Priority. Cube built that house. Cube built Priority to the point where Master P and I was gonna say Reasonable Doubt and Rockefeller could go to Priority and do what they did. That's what Cube did.
Hold on. Here's how people need to look at it. In 1994, while we arguing about Doggy Style and Illmatic and Ready to Die and Southern Playalistic and Enter the Wu-Tang and all their new solo projects, Cube is making Friday for $3 million and grossing $15 million come up while these other niggas was just rapping.
It's true.
Facts. Those are facts.
Yeah, Cube is I don't want to say an underrated mogul, but they don't talk about him enough in that aspect as they should. And yes, we do allow that. Well, I'm going to holler at y'all Friday, man. I'm looking forward to it. I always love us being able to talk about new music. So, let's do it.
Metropolitan, holla at Shakita. Free classes every Wednesday at 7, people.
Oh, we got one more super chat. I want to respect people's money. Born King said, y'all talking about metro lanes? Yeah. He says,
yeah.
I've tried an event for the youth there, but they was closed. I think the Thugger situation has something to do with that.
No, let's clarify it. The Thugger situation did have something to do with it.
Was that there?
That was there.
Okay.
Here's also what I'd like to say. It's under new ownership now.
Yeah.
The people that were involved with that before, Fred took over the building at the top of the year. This is new ownership and management. The Metro Lanes isn't even open yet.
Yeah.
But the stuff that they have coming and the stuff that we're about to do with them, trust me, Born King, come holler at us, fam. Like, you already know what the space and the layout look like. That's where the Juneteenth event is. And Mike and I are probably going to be doing a lot of things with our cohorts and with them in the future there. So, yeah.
All right, y'all. Enjoy your Wednesday night. We're going to holler at y'all Friday.